Dylan Stalker joining us from the Great Idaho Show, thegreatidahoshow.com. And we are here having a good time. We've got selected members of the media here following Idaho's first media outlet's suggestion that they show up today. And here we are, bright lights, big city, Nampa, Idaho. Tonight, the Snake River Stampede kicks off. You, as a man born and bred of the great state of Idaho, what goes on in your mind, young man?
Radio, rodeo, and Idaho, Kevin. It's right here. 580 KIDO. Sun is coming up. Man, that's beautiful. This is a cool spot. I can't believe I haven't come out here for the Buckaroo Breakfast.
It took a man from the East Coast, east of the Great River, to bring you here.
Yes.
Here we are. We've got our man with the electric guitar. He'll be going very soon. Yesterday it was the country and western singers. We brought them in from the home. And today we have you. So as a native Idahoan, how big is rodeo to you, sir? Hold on. I'm going to say, do you have a little belt buckle there?
Oh, what? I've got the only belt buckle, Kevin. What is that? That's Idaho for you, buddy.
Yeah, you showing me your belt buckle does not really translate on the radio, but I appreciate that.
Well, thank goodness there's no cameras, because that could have caught a funny angle there. But, I grew up in Haley, Idaho, and there's a rodeo grounds right there, right next to the middle school. Rodeo was every 4th of July. Still goes on. Small towns all across America, it is one of the things that brings the entire community together, brings people out, getting kids running on the sheep, doing some mutton busting, some of the greatest photos you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And what was it like for you growing up in Haley? Was it as bougie as it is now? And I mean, there's Haley, there's Ketchum, there's Sun Valley, and obviously during your youth, it was the Bruce Willis invasion. But what was that like? Two conflicting worlds, or was it a lot simpler than it is today?
Growing up real young, it was not much different than Napoleon Dynamite. The way that
Were you
they
Kip?
paint the town.
Were you Kip or Napoleon?
I don't think I fit in there anywhere, but I couldn't even make the football team. But
you were Uncle Rico, the best character of them all.
He knew what was going on.
And the little karate guy.
But chain link fences, brick buildings, brick schoolhouses. The imagery is like it's Napoleon Dynamite. But it wasn't till I was in my late teens and 20s that the Bruce Willis, infestation came in. And, honestly, the Bruce Willis, Demi Moore, they did a lot for that town, if you ask me. They took care of a lot of the buildings. They bought a lot of real estate in Haley. It was actually depressed for a good period of time. And I thought they had a positive impact on the community. But now you don't recognize it. There's no locals there anymore.
Do you ever go back to Haley at all?
As often as I can avoid it, I do.
Really, I was going to say, when I was there several years ago, they had like one coffee shop, Sue's Coffee Shop, I think.
I lived in that house. I rented that house for 2 years before it became a coffee shop.
Yeah, and we're learning a lot from Dylan today. He has a belt buckle and he lived in a coffee shop.
Yes.
No, it was just fascinating how it was very different from the Californianization that we see today. And I can imagine up there, I mean, they had to start putting in, in the McCall-Donnelly area, they started putting in building restrictions because people wanted 10,000 square foot homes or 20,000. I can't imagine what it's like in the Haley, Ketchum, Sun Valley area.
We're talking about some of the most beautiful parts of the West. The Rocky Mountains are postcard views everywhere you look. And you can't blame people for wanting to develop there, to live there, but most of them come out second homes, and it's a huge high dollar location. There's some parts of this world that end up becoming Aspen, and sadly the Ketchum, Haley, Sun Valley area has done that. And if you can live there, if you can enjoy the economy, I mean, out every single canyon is if you like being outdoors. There's nothing greater. I can't blame people for what they're doing there or what they're trying to do.
Well, let's talk about you. You've run for office.
I did. I ran.
And by the way, 580-5436-580 KIDO. More with coming up with Dylan. But I have to say, what did Kevin Miller tell you not to do?
Nev, just stick with your love radio. Kevin Miller, radio. But it taught me a lot, opened up some eyeballs for me. It grew me in many ways, and hopefully in radio.
Sure. So let's talk about what are you doing now politically?
I am paying very close attention this week. This Saturday, there is an election for the Idaho Republican chair. I think that's big news. We are conservative talk radio. Mm-hmm. I started my radio show, the Great Idaho Show, focused on all sorts of Idaho. And as much as I tried to avoid politics clung to me for some reason. But no matter what, Idaho is going to be great because, sadly, of politics. It's either going to be great or it isn't. And we're in some troubled waters, my friend.
Well, here's an interesting scenario. So on one hand, you have Dorothy Moon. And it's been well documented, Dorothy Moon is not a fan of this program. And it's ironic that Dorothy Moon ran on a platform of radio being antiquated, but she has no problem going on Bill Colley's show.
Sure.
Goofy there on the other place. And I think the Idaho Falls show, and she promised that she was going to be this big digital revolutionary, which never happened. And that's fine. Look, we're unlike a lot of people, we're full disclosure. But I think a lot of issues are you either have the people that love Dorothy Moon, like Bob, Tea Party Bob, but then you have people that are looking at the governor, and people say, well, I'm a shill for the governor, I defend the governor. No, we just call it like we see it. So the governor yesterday goes, I'm going to do something about Idaho sports. I'm going to have a committee with somebody from the State Board of Education, like they've done anything worthwhile. And you think, okay, I'm maybe not with Dorothy Moon, but I'm not with Brad Little. And you have this void in the middle. Is there a void in the middle, or am I missing something?
As it relates to this election or Idaho GOP chair, it is about activity, your effectiveness, and what are the results. The sole job of a GOP chair, I'm critical of Dorothy. I have other personal reasons to be critical, but I'm wise enough to separate that. The sole job is to raise money, Kevin, and to get out there, raise money for the party, and fight initiatives like the abortion initiative or the
Sure.
weed initiative to help change seats over. So let's talk. We got to get some facts.
Or to help Howard and Ron that were left to themselves to repeal the grocery tax, which never got any support.
Okay, so there's some audio out there about Dorothy supporting the grocery tax, and we can link to that somewhere else. However, that audio is very interesting.
Hold on. Every time I have Dylan on, we always get in trouble, but I love Dylan, and Dylan tells the truth. And it is true, isn't that not right, that every time there are shots fired when you come on the air?
There are shots fired because the truth is tough,
Yep.
and they'll flame me for the truth, whatever their so-called truth is. But let's talk about this one. Idaho is 50th in all states for dollars raised per registered Republican voter. At 69 cents, 50th in all states. Those are stats that matter, Kevin. When you look at sunshine reports, the Idaho Democrats have about $350,000 in their bank account. Idaho Republicans, $200,000. Where's the issue here? This is about fundraising. We either are or we are not. When you look at some of her, I would say supporters, but some of them are paid supporters. Dorothy Moon is the most energetic person we've ever had, and energetic is great. Honestly, you can hear, I'm Dorothy Moon, and we're going to raise some money over here.
Yeah.
But are we raising money? This is about raising money, Kevin.
But we've seen this before, and it happened with Barry Peterson. And did you know Barry?
I never knew Barry.
I hope Barry's still alive. Barry, if he is, he's listening now in Mountain Home. Barry was the chairman of the Republican Party during the Butch Otter regime. And I've gotten along with every chairman except the current one. But Barry was quoted on this show, which got picked up in the Statesman, saying that the governor wanted him to bend over. And what happened was, and I predicted this when Dorothy Moon got it, the establishment is not going to give her any money, so you've got to work even harder. So you have the Idaho Majority Club and others that are raising tons of money.
Sure.
And you have like a separate party. Like when Donald Trump Jr. came into town, the state party didn't acknowledge it. The president's son. So there's a great schism there. And unless you have a consensus builder, and whether that's Steve Yates, who now works for Donald Trump, or Tom Luna, but Tom was too establishment for people, you're going to have this issue.
Well, it's interesting that you talk about that. If you do a classic man on the street interview, if you ask generally most people, which I have, generally you ask the one question, is the Idaho Republican Party divided in a yes or no format? I mean, I think it's fairly obvious. And it's really the job of the Idaho GOP chair to sew those relationships back together. You have to have your foot in the hot tub of most all of the consensus of those groups. And why can't we tie this together? You just pointed out the establishment isn't fundraising the Idaho GOP.
Oh, no, they're not. And you have people
why?
You have people that will not allow that to happen. So even if Dorothy Moon were more of a mainstream person, because she's not in the club, and again, it's been well documented by a lot of people, her leadership, on the other hand, she's very shrewd at making sure her people are there to protect her and to keep her in power.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. Dorothy Moon came out and said, we're leaving traditional radio, we're building digital, right? That's pretty wise. That's pretty wise.
Yeah.
Actually, I support that. But what are the digital channels that you're supporting? Dorothy has essentially, in my opinion, created an information laundering technique by supporting very specific digital channels in individuals who are influencers. And if there's anything that ever comes critical out about one of Dorothy's opponents or something, it's never her words. You will never hear Dorothy say something fairly critical. It usually launches through one of her proxies.
Sure.
And then you'll see this organized information release.
Happened to you and me.
Well, it's happened to you. It's happened to me.
Yeah. But I mean, even when you were running for office.
Well, yes, and that's not what we're talking about, because that's insignificant.
But we have to have full disclosure.
I did run for office, and I was, we will say, alleged to have had an incident with Dorothy Moon. Here's my point. She herself, to this day, has not publicly said the words that all came out about me.
No,
nothing.
I'm with you, but what I'm saying is, all of a sudden, you had these allegations appearing.
Sure.
Through these outlets, and nobody ever disavows the vulgarity of some of these people. True. And some of these people are linked to the Speaker of the House.
Yes.
Some of these people are linked to a lot of powerful people. And, it's troubling. So, Dylan, as someone who, by the way, your main job is like your business.
That's my business.
Right. You have been diverted into the cesspool that is politics.
I'm made for this, Kevin, but where am I made for it? Here's what you just described and why Dorothy has an issue. Mm-hmm. She has used an information tactic that has been very effective, just like Hillary Clinton and the Russia collusion thing. When you overuse that tactic and you start destroying more and more people within your circle, you're going to have a growing opposition over time. And she's reached a critical mass at that point. There's been some other people that have been very reliable to the Idaho GOP that over association to different people, she has gone out and ran this technique on and ran them out. And she's tearing up her own party. Yeah. I'm critical, but it's about money raising. Show me the money, Dorothy.
Well, maybe she'll respond on Bill Colley's show. He's her mouthpiece, or that jerk in the afternoon.
Well, at least there's no equal time situations here, because I'm not the one running. Dorothy is.
Yes. A little close to home on that one. More coming up next. We'd love to get your thoughts. 580 KIDO, Kevin Miller, Dylan Stocker, Ugo, Bo, Sweet William. The gang is all here at the Buckaroo Breakfast. 580 KIDO. I have to ask you in my ignorance, were you ever like a farmer?
Oh, I grew up ranching. Grew up driving truck and potatoes. I was on the Hershey Ranch in the summers of my childhood, which is one of the ranches mentioned in that silly TV show. But I grew up in the bunkhouse, grew up with the cookhouse, worked 6.5 days a week, half a day off on Sundays, $500 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you see this event today, it's funny. I was just imagining you in the bunkhouse with Rip and all the guys, the boys, kind of like Al and the sauna.
Oh, they aren't beautiful like that, just so you know. The men in the bunkhouse have one tooth generally.
Yeah. So, and by the way, now we've got the electric guitar guy. He'll play the whole time, so it'll be rather annoying. But it's the magic of the Buckaroo Breakfast. However, tell me what you see when you see these kids, these future farmers of America's behind us.
I mean, that is American pride right there. They're, you know my saying, Kevin, the only difference between those that do and those that don't is those that do just did. Those are young individuals getting out, communicating with adults, running an organization, learning how to work with each other, taking action, doing something. And I can't think of a more American way to do it. And it is in farming, it is in ag, it is in ranching. There's just something pure about it. And when you grow up in those places, this is the big event, right? This is what they all prepare for. But it's everything that they do and the time to get ready for it back at home. And all of those kids are getting up at, 6 in the morning, running out a hay bale to feed something. They're dealing with their issues of sickness, veterinary issues. It's real tangible life right here in Idaho.
Yeah, and what's amazing about it is, like you've got your shirt tucked in, you got your jeans, you're ready to go, you've got your protruding waistline, but so do I, you're in good company. And it's marvelous to me to see how people dress, and they take great pride in how they dress, which is very different from yours truly.
Well, Kevin, you have a style, and it's your style, my friend.
Yes.
But yeah, I think what you're pointing out is, in all levels, these young individuals take pride in what they're doing in every stage of it. Even down to how they present their animals or what they're doing throughout of it. But what you heard yesterday, and when they talk about the four leaves of the 4-H program,
The clovers.
No,
I got. You heard that? I got schooled yesterday on that one. You could heard that. I got dressed out there. Yeah.
I'm a listener, but it's more than just the one event. It is a way of life, and it's a community. It's a wonderful community that I wish more kids could engage with.
Well, and now here we have our ode to Boxcar Willie that will be with us all morning long.
We got a little steel guitar going there, my friend. That's outlaw country.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that guy will come over and want to be on like 17 times. But God bless him. We'll put him on. Very talented older gentleman.
He's tearing it up.
Yes. Of course, it's tough to keep your train of thought with this. See, this is both alluring and frustrating at the same time, but it's the magic of the Buckaroo Breakfast. It really is. So we're not even open yet. And we've got this guy singing. You know why? Because he loves what he does.
Look at those 4-H kids over there. I need a photo of that, Kevin. That's a wonderful thing.
You're taking
right
a picture of yourself there, Dylan.
You stop it.
Anyway, Dylan Stocker joining us. Coming up, we'll hear from Al in Ontario. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Peak Health Idaho. Our great friend, Dr. Eric Lyle. Love Dr. Lyle. The videos that we've shot are so compelling. I'm really hesitant to put them on the air, but we will as we document the last 100 pounds that I'm going to lose. Dylan, let's get back to where we are. Where is this convention at? Are you going to this convention of states?
I would go, but no, I can't say that I know where it's at. I know the vote goes down this Saturday. I'm trying to learn more about how at least the Idaho Republican Party operates, and it's quite confusing, actually. Different county committees are revolting against the state leadership. I can't quite put it together how it actually functions, but I know that there's being some name tags printed, and there's going to be some good, honest debate about about this vote, and we've got Mark Furman and Steve Thane in a three-way race with Dorothy Moon. They've each got 5 minutes to stand up in front of their potential voters that decide to come to this convention and let it rip. But I think there's quite a few things going on before Saturday.
Well, we'll see how that plays out. We've covered politics, if you will. Let's talk a little bit about the economy. Dylan, as a local businessman, how do you see this playing out here? Are people hurting? I know you've been working with Legio Enterprises.
You know, I definitely, across the industry, my industry is down, but I don't think that that's necessarily the economy. That's a round two of the Trump slump. People aren't as scared about firearms. I think no matter what, fuel, as much as I got to give TPB trouble for his dire support of a mistake in an Idaho GOP chair, he's dead right when it comes to fuel and how that impacts the economy. More fuel, more cost, inflation goes up. People are having a tough time, but it's almost like pre-dot-com crash or 2008. There's gonna be a reset at some point, and I don't know when it is. I think Trump might have the magic tape to hold it all together, at least until he passes the torch to somebody else who's gonna have to deal with it. But it feels like a crash to me.
Well, and that's what I wonder about, though. And I've asked this with Dave Petzel. Have we entered an era where it's too big to crash? Take a look at Micron, and Dave Petzel will join us at 8 today. But Micron, not a very much of a winner stock. You remember when all the people got laid off. You remember when the Chinese tried to buy it. And now it's the belle of the ball.
I mean, Micron is a wonderful story when you really look at it. And I don't claim to be some expert. I do listen to Mr. Petzo right here on 580 KIDO. But, Micron wasn't such a wonderful story its whole time. It went through some serious struggle times. But when you talk about economy, let's talk about businesses that did not receive hundreds of millions of dollars from the federal government to go and make this, right? Let's look at the economy about businesses that did not get subsidized. That would be a really nice thing. Micron is a farce. They were handed over hundreds of millions of dollars, and it sure looks wonderful. But what's that doing for you, Kevin? We're going to get some interesting entertainment out there in the world.
And we love the small market report, the small business, the local business report from Dylan Stocker. 580 KIDO, let's get you to work. Well, just about no one here. We haven't opened up yet, but he's got a lot of passion, doesn't he?
If you're going to get on the mic, you better be on the mic whether you got somebody listening or not. You just wonder if people are listening. I'm sure listening.
Well, no, after your segment, so we've made friends with Dorothy and we've made friends with Micron. So apparently we've made a lot of friends lately.
Micron is a wonderful business. They look what they're doing to the Boise economy. Micron is just doing fantastic. Some of those hard truths about money are just what they are, but they certainly do a wonderful job here for Boise.
You know the fascinating thing about them, and I have to say, the biggest victory is Lauren McLean on that one.
You know,
and let me just give the people at 580 KIDO, we'll get to Al in a minute, but Lauren McLean was the only one that backed that. Governor Little has not gotten a lot of heat, but it was the legislature that gave them incentives as well. It wasn't just the city. Our congressional delegation gave him the Heisman, all four. And then Senator Risch was there, and people gave him a hard time for being there at the grand opening. I was a little bummed out that we didn't get anybody big. We didn't get Camilla. We didn't get Joe. We didn't get Jill. We got the hose on that one. But it's fascinating. And again, this is how I, in my old age, try to be fair. But McLean, you could argue, that's her signature thing.
It's developed. Boise's getting developed. Those corporations are developing Boise. Everybody needs to remember that Micron was essentially started on a paper towel and a
Mr.
small
Simplot,
idea.
Morrison, Knudsen, all those guys.
We're taught this is Idaho. This is something born in Idaho. These are ideas born in Idaho, and the whole story's complex.
Yeah, but you think of what would Steve Appleton think of that whole thing? That we lost him in that plane crash.
That's a tough day.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
That's a lot of somebody that's impacted a lot of folks. But Micron is is a wonderful opportunity out there, especially for young individuals in this development. There are contract jobs to go and learn different jobs. I mean, there is an economy here.
Dude, I had a plumber come out to me at Miller's Mission 2 years ago and talk about it. Let's see if Alberta is still with us on 580 KIDO. Now,
the algorithm.
If you are a true friend, you're going to take him down for me.
I'm not a takedown person.
You're gonna turn on me and go, Al is so right. I love Al.
Al is Al.
Al, you there?
Yes, I am. So hey, I don't think we have to worry about Dorothy Noon. What we really need to worry about is some of the women who turn off KIDO when they hear something that they don't like. Now, what the men will do is they will argue. They'll call up and say, no, I don't like, whatever. But the women, no, they're like the liberals. They don't want to hear anything. They just turn it off. So what we need is an alternative, Kevin, and we have.
But, hold on, Al. Didn't Al, somebody just message Kevin Miller about turning it off when you came on?
There's a friend.
I think she was a female.
Her name was Beverly. We love Beverly. And she goes, I love your show. It rivals the Daily Wire. But when Al comes on, and hold on, let me ask you, does Al have a thing against women?
I think the subject comes up 5 out of 10 times.
That he's bagging on women?
Well, there's an essence there.
Hold on, and then he talks about his time in the sauna with the boys.
Okay, hold on now. Hold on. There's an alternative, Kevin. Okay, there's an alternative show for the women. It's called the Kavisha Fafila Show. Kavisha Fafila. She's the man killer. Her theme song is, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and their life is better than yours. Damn right.
This is either really good or really, really bad.
You've got so many things you can snap out of this.
Okay, so that show, that new Kavisha show is the alternative. The Kavisha Fafila show is the alternative to Kevin Miller. And Kevin, I did something. I recorded the first call on the Kavisha Miller show. So I'm going to play it for you right now. Okay, and here it is. Hi, my name's Kavisha. Who is this? Hi, this is Karen. I hate white men because they're all about sex and power. And they're colonialists and they steal things. Okay, Karen, I see you got a good education from the public system. So here's the thing, Kavisha. So here's the thing, Karen. What you need to do is be fulfilled. What you need to do is go on the internet, find you an AI bot. Find you an AI bot that's going to psychologically fondle you, Karen.
Al, I got to ask you a question. We got Seminole winds blowing over here at the Snake River Stampede. Can we talk about something of fact about the whole Idaho GOP thing?
He doesn't want to talk about that.
Are you aware about the dollars raised per voter? But no. Serious question.
There's metaphor, hyperbole, heuristics, irony, and humor.
These are just basic facts, Al. I don't know how to spell it out. Are you aware that they are
hyperbole, heuristics, irony, and humor? Okay.
I think the algorithm broke himself.
Okay, you need.
I want to go back to the Kavisha show. That sounded pretty good to me. Hey, can we go back to the Kavisha show? That sounded really good.
Yeah, so Kavisha the fulfiller. Okay, she's a man killer. So what Kavisha, she said, look, Karen, what you need to do, get you an AI bot that will psychologically fondle you, and then go find a female doctor that will give you 5 bottles of antidepressants.
Yeah, there's no way anybody that's a female is listening to this thing.
No, I mean, we were talking about plane crashes a few minutes ago.
He's talking about him fondling himself.
Yeah, no,
all right, let's oh, now he's getting mad.
Okay, no. Hey, you guys, Kevin, you can't take metaphor, hyperbole, heuristic, irony, or humor. Look, the truth is, Idaho is Idaho. Okay, the one thing that
there he goes again.
Is doing, Vicron is it's a socialist company. It can't compete. It doesn't compete. Okay, so what has to happen? You have inflation. What is inflation? You don't know. Here I try and talk about inflation. Blair comes in, says some nonsense. I try
Well-
to help out so people understand inflation. Look, inflation is asset prices going up. Inflation is Micron going up. Inflation is SpaceX going up. Now it's worth over $3 trillion. But people don't understand this. They don't understand anything. So when I come on and try and comment about these things, well, I just throw a little humor in there because guess what? It's all about Marxism. It's Marxist feminism, right? And so that's what people don't understand. The whole damn thing is about critical theory. It's about having females, okay, hate, just like they have racists hate.
Ow! You
Hold on.
gotta get the train is steaming on, but little bit.
Yeah.
Where's the solutions here?
He has no
What are we
solutions.
talking about? What can we actually
Okay.
do?
He just likes to insult
And you're
me.
just bashing females.
I'm a victim.
You're getting it right now, buddy.
Can we go
You're
back to the
getting it.
Kavika show?
Because what we have is ignorance. What we have is ignorance. Okay? And if we continue down our ignorant path where people don't even understand the basics, okay, where we're at war. We're at war. Okay, but you don't get it. Okay, you don't understand that. Okay, it's not a kinetic war, but we're at war with the other side. And that's why,
we're at war every
and
day
what
of
it's
our
about-
life, Al. That's life.
What
Life
it's
is
about
war,
the First
social war.
Amendment. That's the First Amendment. Look, if we can't speak, listen, Kevin, you want to blow sunshine up everybody's orifice. Now, David DeHaas can do that because he's got a license. But Kevin, you can't be blowing sunshine up everybody's orifice, right? Okay, what we need to do is get down to what? To reality. It's like your dad was talking about yesterday. The Democratic Party is a communist party. That's the truth.
You know what's happened to this program? Al, thank you for the call. We've turned this into the Angry Boomer Show.
It is the Angry Boomer
It
show,
is.
Kevin.
I noticed that yesterday with my dad and Tea Party Bob. Now, I've never been a boomer guy. People have accused me of being a boomer, but we're the X, bro.
I mean, we're the X, but no matter what, we should think you should go hug a local boomer today.
I don't know
because
about
we
that.
grew up. I mean, we grew up in a
Look,
different age, Kevin.
Look, those people had everything. They burned bras, they smoked dope, they wore bell bottoms. Now, I'm not down with the MAGA hunters, the Gen Zs, or the Gen X's, not the Gen X's, the millennials. We're truly the isolated generation. We're the smallest, and we're like the mountain time zone, bro.
Well, so the boomers certainly did Gen X one favor, which was to leave them at home alone for weeks at a time and not check in at anything. Latchkey kids are some of the most successful people on this planet, and now we can't even we have to change corporate policy in America today to allow more tardies, to allow more latent flexibility. The boomers showed up to work. They did their job.
I will tell you about the boomers, and this is something we could throw out. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. I would take a boomer any day over a millennial.
Oh, man.
Would you?
I've had to experience corporate America when policies changed just to keep people employed. Policies changed on tardies. It used to be 3 strikes, you're out. And they're like, well, we need to double that because, the millennials are really sensitive.
Yes.
And it's a
it.
degradation, right? Show up to work, do your job, know your role, shut your hole. And
Exactly.
That's how it works. But the millennials, those helicopter parents, Gen X, those are the ones.
Well, thank you very much. More coming up with Dylan. Let's go to Ron Grant, who joins us now on
Paid for by
580
Ron
KIDO.
Grant, your safer money specialist.
And here he is, Ron Grant, talking about a lot of things that are very important to you, specifically how to keep your money safe. Hello, Ron.
Hello, buddy. Good morning. How you doing today?
Well, we're running wild here at the Buckaroo Breakfast in Nampa. Having a good time. It used to be $5, now it's $7, and that's the cost of things going up, which leads me to the point of, Ron, this is a great value, but you got to get more for your money, and you got to keep your money safe. Ron, that's where you come in.
Thanks, buddy. Yes, 100% safe. My clients and I sleep at night, Kevin, knowing that we can't lose our principal and we can't lose any gains that we've already earned. We get to participate in some of the upside of Wall Street, but never the downside. And the most important thing that I have for myself and for my clients is we have a lifetime income that we can't outlive. Can't outlive it. And if we're married, one spouse passes away, the other spouse gets that for the rest of their life. And then when they've passed away, whatever's left goes to the beneficiaries. You know, it's so important, Kevin, to have a lifetime income, not just a pile of money out of a 401k or an IRA that you can live on, because that's your dignity money. That's the money that you saved and worked hard for to take care of yourself and your family in retirement.
Ron, that's where you come in. And how can people get a hold of you to answer some of the questions they may have about safety, security, sanctuary?
Knowledge is power. I've put together a great educational website that they can go on 24/7. Articles to read, videos to take a look at. Heck, there's even a book they can download, 10 Things to Know About Retirement Income. And that's safermoneyspecialist.com. But let's have a phone conversation right here in the Treasure Valley about how to have a guaranteed income that you can't outlive. Zero stock market risk, but legacy protection for you and your family. That's the most important thing. I know nobody wants to go back to work. Nobody wants to live with their family. They want to make sure they can take care of themselves. So give me a call, 208-660-1372.
Ron Grant, we always appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate you, buddy. Have a good day.
Paid for by Ron Grant, your safer money specialist.
And more coming up next. Who knows what's going to happen? What will Al say? What will Dylan say? What will the guy singing in the background say? I don't know. What will you say? Kevin Miller on your home for Hannity, 580 KIDO. So, Dylan, I think we've offended everybody this morning. Let's take a look at some of the national issues. And by the way, folks, boomer or millennial, we'll take your calls on that one at 580-5436, 580 KIDO. Actually, we're going to go to Brian, another Xer. And
Big bad Brian.
You love Brian.
Brian, get on here, buddy.
What do you mean? You're taking over now, too?
No, I'm just a bystander.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
First, I have to apologize, Kevin. I've had 2 of my attacks in the last week, or I would be down there with you and Dylan right now. So,
that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
So we'll see how quick I recover this time. But Dylan, it's great to hear from you. And yes, as a Generation Xer, I'm just going to say these millennials have no idea what it's like to be behind the boomers. Like, they complain about Generation Xers all the time. They got no clue how easy they got it compared to what we had to deal with. Any questions?
No, you are so right, because before the millennials came around, the most dominant generation ever was the boomers. The largest age cohort ever in our history, the boomers. And remember, the millennials, we started to see the democratization of media through the iPhone and everything else. And it really kicked off with the Gen Z people. But when we were coming up, to be on television, to be credible in politics, you had to be over 55.
Oh, that was like getting into the NFL. Now anybody can get in.
And now we're sounding like the angry boomers. And look, we love the boomers. The boomers make up the majority of this program. God bless them. But Brian's point is relevant to follow that generation. And remember, they controlled everything. Today, you can get on a website, copy a few talking points, and all of a sudden you're on Real American News and you're the big star. And you're not here with Steely Dan and the Ugo Ugo.
Well, we're talking about media saturation, and there's too much. It is about patience, consistency, longevity. What do you got? 31 years, Kevin?
I've got a lot of stupidity. Let's go back to Brian. What do you think, Brian?
I think Gen X is where it's at, because we had to meet that middle ground. We're the ones that made it so much easier for all the generations after the boomers. So you all owe us. I'm just saying, you owe us. And Kevin, the reason I love your show so much is because the Kevin Miller show is the American show, the old America show, like the boomers and the Gen X's, and all the new generations get a reality check. And even to Al's point, the ladies get checked on the Kevin Miller show. And if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you, because this is the reality show. This is where real Americans call in And even if you're disabled and sitting in bed like me, you can call in and voice your opinion. So long live the Kevin Miller Show, long live Al, and long live Dylan.
Well, thank you, Brian. God bless you. You have a great day.
Take care, Brian.
Love
What do you
guys.
make of that? Love you, Brian. Yeah.
I think if we don't get some youth going on in the old talk radio, it's going to be long live until the listenership all passes away.
but
we got to celebrate some. We've got to celebrate getting youth involved,
I think
and the ladies. The ladies are getting.
I think that's where you're mistaken, because everybody says, and for years, they go, "Oh, you got to get the young people." The young people are doing their own thing.
True.
They're doing the clicks and the dips and the daps and the dips. Always have to be careful. Bo always has his finger on the trigger when I start trying to rhyme for obvious reasons.
Well,
the clicks and the... Anyway, let me just say that the challenge is you have much more of a diversity of opinion, and it takes a while to develop that ear for talk radio. And by the way, as an old person, I love that old people rule. Remember that? Now they're... Here's one. Ageism against... They're going after the president because he's in his 80s.
Sure.
I don't know. We were
Dorothy
taught...
Moon's going after her other two candidates because of their age.
Oh, boy.
If you didn't notice that.
Oh,
one.
there we go. We're back to that one again.
Sorry, I just bringing out the things that are happening this week in Idaho.
Yes, apparently. We appreciate that. However, let me just say this, that why have we put a hit on older people?
I don't know what it is. That's just how the culture works. The older people get older. All the youngers get older at some point, and as we get older, we're like, those kids today, they're stabbing their parents, lighting dogs on fire, complaining about the youngers, and then the youngers end up us. And, it's always the same, just a different group of people.
But the youngers, because of technology, are more well-researched, a little bit more, I don't want to say ruthless, but passionate.
You're closer to the boomer side than I am. We're in the split of the X. But Kevin...
You're what? How many years younger than me?
6.
Oh, yeah, so that's a big split. Yeah.
Huge splits, right?
Yes,
but
so and Bob has told me I'm an honorary boomer.
Well, you
really think so? You think I'm more of a boomer?
When you marinate, you take on some of the flavor. You know what I mean, Kevin?
Well, they were the dominant culture.
Well, they deserve some of the greatest respect. They showed up to work. They worked.
Like this guy over here, Steely Dan.
He's working the steel guitar. That's for sure.
Steely Dan is, yes.
But here's the thing that that live talk radio, it was like, it's always going to be put out by what? It was going to be put out by television. It was going to be put out by the internet. It was going to be put out in the AI saturation of content. You're right. People can just pick it up and do it now, right? Anywhere. Well, live content is the revolution of the day.
It's very lively this hour.
It is. It's all about live content. Radio, rodeo radio in Idaho, 580.
People Channel 6 and Channel 7 were listening. They're here. We still hope that DirecTV will come to an agreement with Channel 6. Didn't get to see the Stanley Cup, didn't get to see the NBA playoffs, didn't get to see a lot of things. I mean, the NBA playoffs were so big, Glenn Beck was talking about it last night. And he goes, I'm going to get to the Knicks in a minute, but I've got to tell you about how America is really coming back. It was very powerful, that optimistic vision of what Glenn Beck had. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We've got, at one time he was known as Double Secret Probation Dylan. Now he's back to Dangerous Dylan. And when we have someone like Dylan with us, and we're going to have Cowboy Calvin and Tea Party Bob and my parents, and I don't know who else is coming, but you never know what he's going to say. And after that last hour, we'll see if we can keep him from keeping us into getting into any more trouble. So welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
We take a look at America. We take a look at Idaho, and I always ask the natives, I always ask you people, what's it like to have seen your land being taken over? Now, I haven't been here very long, with respect. And I think if you want respect, you have to give respect. And you have to understand, as they say in casino, you're all just visitors, partner. And you and your East Coast hoodlums can hit the road. So you see this rapid transformation of your native state. What goes on with you people that used to fish and hunt on Eagle Road and gosh knows what you did in the woods?
Growth is going to happen. We live in one of the most beautiful places in the country. We have one of the most welcoming and amazing cultures in the country. It's going to happen. And so you either find ways to appreciate it or go find another place to live. Boise, the Treasure Valley, the Magic Valley, even over there in Bonneville County, Idaho Falls, Pocatello, we live in one of the nicest, most safe places in this world. It's amazing until it's not, Kevin. And growth should be tied to water a little bit so we don't end up like Phoenix where people are having to truck in their water because we live in a high desert and we lose 2 to 22 meters of the Snake River aquifer every single year. Water is going to be the ultimate issue of the growth problem.
Well, you bring up a good point, and we documented this last night, Idaho's unreported water crisis. And the thing about this is, we expect some major cities to cut off their water soon. We are already in a drought. We have people saying it's going to affect fishing, it's going to affect crops, it's going to affect everything. And the only person who's really talked about water in the past 2 or 3 years is the lieutenant governor. So
should be every day.
Yeah. So again, we're uncovered on the water issue. Now, you know all about water. You lost a lot of your land because of fires and stuff firsthand. And you always credit Congressman Fulcher for helping you. So how dangerous a world are we living in? They're saying this could be like 1977 as bad as this drought could be.
Yeah, so everything's so myopic. It isn't a problem until it is. People need to remember that there was a 3-year period in the 80s where the New York Canal and everything was dried up before July 15th. It's a drought, folks, and we're not. The thing with Idaho is people think that water is everywhere. We've got rivers, so we've got water everywhere. We don't. We are but a speck of what the water scenario is compared to our neighbors, and we must manage it, and we are managing it, I believe, but we're also making mistakes in attacking some of those things that help us, like, man, I got to bring it up, cloud seeding, Kevin. The parts per million of silver iodide into the sky to help rain is so minuscule as it comes down to the ground, but everybody's blaming it on geoengineering and chemtrails, and the cloud seeding programs are important, and they bring this water down to the ground.
So you're all about cloud seeding, and you're all about the chemtrails. Are you a communist?
Cloud seeding is a very specific program,
and somewhere
and is effective.
If Mark the watchdog of Eagle is listening, he would say, see, I'm right, Kevin Miller.
Well, chemtrails and cloud seeding are two entirely different subjects, but what are we're talking about water, Kevin. We're about to outgrow our water. Let's cram 50,000 homes in the Mayfield area in between Boise and Mountain Home, and yet we're having to recycle water from the Snake River back into the aquifer today. How's that going to work out?
No, I'm with you on that. But there are some things we can't control, like a lack of snow. And as we detail in this article on KIDO.com, Idaho is in trouble. Oregon's even worse.
Sure.
And, if you're new to the area, and again, I am not one of you people. I will never be a mountain person. I can admire and support the mountain people, like Costner in Dancing with the Wolves.
You looked like a mountain person for a good time there. You should put the beard back on.
I was a faux mountain person, but I was a poser of a mountain person. But I respect the mountain people. I respect this land. I choose to live here, and so graciously you all have let me live here. However, I see where we're going with this, with the development, with everything else, and I wonder how you can keep it rolling.
I think that's the problem. Growth is wonderful. Growth does a lot of things until it doesn't.
Well, but if you have limited quantities, again, and thank you, Steely Dan is kind of distracting me. I apologize for that. But, and already Liberal Steve is critiquing us, saying it's a show about nothing. Well, twice a year it's a show about nothing here. It's about the community. But what shocked me is I go with the family to the Oregon coast. and we drove. And you remember the one year where the fires were so bad. Thank you. Appreciate it. God bless. Eat that breakfast for me, brother.
Have 2 sausages.
So when I'm sitting there driving down the road and you see Oregon towns cut off because of the fires, you see the fires along the highways, which is amazing. Know what I mean?
There's got to be something going on in Oregon. Go pull up your Watch Duty app right now. There's like 100 fires in Oregon. We have 2 or 3 in Idaho. I don't know what the difference is there, but the other thing leading to the major problems here is people in the mountains getting their insurance canceled based on fire data that comes from Oregon and California, and not Idaho.
Right. Tea Party Bob broke that a couple years ago. By the way, the new mayor of Nampa just showed up here today without an entourage. I kind of like him. He's wearing a shirt without it tucked in. So,
Hey.
Cowboy Calvin, you wanted to say something about the fires?
Yes, I personally know a little bit about it. You know, I had friends that were affected by the fires. They were set by Antiva up and down the Willamette Valley. We've lost several towns there. It wasn't lightning strike. When the lightning hits, it hits the Cascades. It doesn't hit down low in the valley. Never has happened and never will. And those people have been caught by the locals. They set up roadblocks to keep people out from setting fires, and the news marked it down as a natural happening.
Well, if you want to talk about terrorism in the west of America today, fire is certainly one of the most powerful tools. That's a terrible thing.
Yes, it is. And you got to ask yourself, why was there water out of the reservoir down in California? Why was there no water in Maui? There was no follow-up investigation.
Well,
so it leads you to believe that there's something they don't want us to discover.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some big challenges in California. They can keep them over there, you know, in this Idaho subject that we have. Water has been a growing concern. We've got, you know, our ag partners in the east of this state. Some are overusing their water rights, putting in the meters. The Idaho Department of Water Resource now having to fund their districts to go out and have constitutionally acknowledged individuals to go out and make sure water is gold, and that's what's happening in Idaho.
Well, there's no such thing as conservation of water here in Idaho and a lot of other states. We got to address the issue. It's not an unlimited source.
Well, we should store more water in Idaho, and I do.
See, this is like NPR, folks. We're talking to the new mayor of Nampa. We're going to have him on. Pardon the interruption, gentlemen. It's only the Kevin Miller program. Dr. Livingston is with us. It's like old home day, and you guys just take over. You guys are naturals. Ugo, he's impressed with you guys. Steely Dan with his violin. The gang's all here. Welcome to the Buckaroo Breakfast at 580 KIDO. I'm sorry, back to you, gentlemen.
When in doubt, peel out, Kevin Miller.
Exactly.
You know, you got to have your battle buddies backing you up while you're meeting all the big folk.
Yes.
Just let me know. I'll follow your lead, Kevin.
Thank you very much. You will never lead me astray, unlike this guy.
Just don't ask no questions, and I'll tell no.
Exactly. Dylan, how's the weather? Wow, you know, let me tell you about the Republican Party, Kevin Miller. Okay, Dylan, thank you very much.
The thing struggling most in Idaho, the Idaho GOP, but anyway.
Yes. And somewhere there's a man running around hitting his heavy bag, ready to beat us all when he gets here.
I can't wait. I want to see this. Who's it going to be? What's the format?
That's Tea Party Bob. That's too hot for radio right there.
Well, I have to say I admire Dylan because he stays on point. There's some other people that I won't mention names that wander here and there through the weeds.
There's definitely lots of weeds trying to happen here in Idaho, isn't it?
Exactly. Let's continue on. By the way, we'll take your calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Cowboy Calvin, you know, you always downplay your rodeo experience, but what does this mean for you? And I know you love the Caldwell Night Rodeo, but you see all the little kids, you see people that aren't rodeo people that are here. What does it mean to you?
It's America. It's our heritage. And it's something that we don't want to forget. we don't want to deviate from that. I'm looking around. Normally you see American flags quite often. That brings some joy to my heart when I see American flag flying beside some other things up there.
Well, we got pancakes, eggs, and sausage flying around.
This
now.
is very compelling content, Dylan. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
But this rodeo has a great family content to it, and there's as the kids grow up, they can enjoy it. They can go on to be a professional in some of these events if they so desire.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. They just have to learn from a good teacher. I encourage the kids to get in it because it is a lot of fun.
More coming up next. 580-KIDO. Make sure you move your microphone up here. Let's go over some clips here of the vice president. Do you guys want to do that?
Oh, let's hear it.
Otherwise, it's the Cowboy Calvin and Dylan show, which is okay with me.
If the Iranians are behaving like a normal country, and if they make their country investable, then the Gulf Arab states are going to may decide to invest in that country, invest in their infrastructure, invest in their incredible resources. But I think it's important, not a single dime of that money comes from the United States, and in order for Iran to get that benefit, they have to show the Gulf Arab states that they're behaving like a normal country. Again, the whole concept of this deal is that if Iran acts like a normal country, their economic relationship, both with the region but the world, is going to be totally transformed. The President of the United States doesn't want just a deal on the nuclear as much as that's a win for the American people. Yeah. He wants to see a transformed Middle East, which is what this deal will do so long as the Iranians comply. And if they don't, they won't get any of the benefits.
Okay, so there we have it. J.D. Vance, by the way, props to Jake Tapper yesterday. He booked back-to-back vice presidents, had J.D. Vance on, and then Mike Pence. Very interesting vibe with both of them. So the administration is saying, if you're good boys, we're good. But we all know the Iranians. Are they going to be good boys?
They haven't proven to be. They don't seem to prove to want to be. It's a constant issue. It will always be a constant issue, and it requires pressure. If people are going to play nice, some people just need to be held accountable. It's going to be a daily thing for the rest of our lives.
Cowboy?
Well, they have a history of being bad people, and I don't believe. Oh, I like to believe, but I don't trust them.
Well, here we have the administration putting it on the line when we're thinking about this. So the vice president out. The president says he's not giving any money to the Iranians. And, you know, whether you're Glenn Beck, whether you're Mark Levin, whether you're Kevin Miller, whether you're Dylan, whether you're Cowboy Calvin, the bottom line here is that the administration is trying to speak a language that the Iranians have never spoken, which is mainstream. Other people are saying we need to see the memoranda of understanding. We need to see this, that, and the other. We need to see this and that. Does it bother you that none of this has been released?
It's hard. What are they going to release and how?
Well, the details of the deal.
Yeah, I mean that's like showing all your cards. And is it even true? Do we even have a deal? Will it even happen?
Well, no, we have a deal because the president signed it.
Yeah, electronically, right? There's some electronic acknowledgement of what something close to the Abraham Accords, whatever it is. The bottom line is Iran has been a proxy to serve China and Russia. Their move to go in and put the thumb on Iran is to turn the supply of Iran's little creations to our enemies, and that's oil to China. It's important. I don't think this is going away for a long time, though, Kevin. We're going to live in that area.
What about it, Cowboy Calvin?
Well, problem is with Jordan and some of these other countries there, you know, they can, the Iranians can pull out and move things in another region and start it up again. We don't really have any treaty with Jordan. PLO and all those groups, radical groups, have moved in there and taken over that country. It used to be the paradise of the Middle East.
We go to Denny in Nampa that joins us now at 580 KIDO. Hello, Denny.
Good morning, Kevin. Sorry I can't be there today. I got to take my wife to the doctor's appointment. Thing I want to say is on Dorothy Moon, as you guys were talking earlier, I've been getting inundated with information on her recently in the mail for a survey for her rerunning for the position of the Republican Party. I've also been getting stuff from Faith and Freedom Party that they are wanting contributions and donations because they need the money. So as you and Dylan were talking earlier about lack of dollars and donations going to the Republican Party, whichever factor anybody in the Idaho listening area in KIDO, you know, they're desperate right now for dollars, obviously. But I must say that since I'm on a fixed income, I can't donate either way. Sorry, folks. The other issue is Hezbollah yesterday went ahead and took down a $10 million drone, which belonged to Israel, which was worked jointly with the United States government. It's a spy drone. $10 million, folks. Hezbollah got donated the missile to Iran. So I go along with Dylan and some of the other people as well this morning and say we can't trust those folks. And Cowboy, I agree with you. I just don't think we got a real deal. They want to drag this out until the midterms and make it look bad for Trump. So keep on with your faith, folks, praying that this thing somehow will get resolved before the midterms. They're going to make it look awful bad for Trump and his administration.
Well, Denny, thank you for the call, and thank you. We're all, I guess we could say we're all on fixed incomes, if you will. We go back to this drone and everything else. People are really wondering how much money we've spent and continue to spend, and why in the world don't we know what's going on here? And as the administration continues to try to sell this, and you have a lot of people within the Republican Party, within the president's party, wondering what's going to happen with the president. He is in France right now. Let's hear from him.
What do you say to Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham, who is skeptical of the MOU?
Lindsey is skeptical?
Yes.
I'll have to talk to Lindsey. He'll be in big trouble. Lindsey's good. Lindsey's fine. He's not skeptical. He's just fine. Look, this agreement covers something very nicely. We're not paying for anything. We're not doing anything. The markets now are higher than they were when we started. Remember that. The stock market now is 2,500, maybe even more than that, points higher than it was when we said it's pretty amazing. This agreement is about one thing, that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Never, ever, ever.
All right, never, ever, ever.
So, I guess, Cowboy, you're going to go eat. Is that right? Okay, we lost Cowboy Calvin. He's going to go eat. Final segments with Dylan Stalker here at 580 KIDO. So, people are skeptical, as we said, of the MOU. They want to know what this is, and really, are we more of the same? I think if you have the MOU being made public, it eliminates a lot of the liberal talking points saying this is just Obama's deal. Now, you're familiar with PSYOPs, psychological operations.
Absolutely.
That's really what that's not military reporting. That's really what reporting is today. That if you're on one side, you say this, on the other side, you say that.
It's an info laundering business, Kevin. It's things are leaked. Certain proxies of information are designed to say certain things at a timed moment. It's happening at the national level. It's happening at our Idaho local level. It's quite organized. There's very few independents. You seem to be one of the independents on the traditional media platforms, but most of what you see out there is coordinated through somebody carrying the whip.
Well, you know, it is fascinating when you take a look at traditional media versus the online. No, I was talking to my parents last night, and they've been early adopters of the Daily Wire, of the Daily Caller, of Rumble, and the Real America's Voice jabronis, and I'm going, I've been doing this for 31 years.
Yeah, where have you been, Mom and Dad?
Well, not that, because they're listening, so I have to be careful there. But what I'm saying is, to me, and I admire these people. They've built a lot of great things. As I've told you, one of the great videos on YouTube, and I don't think that they really went in-depth enough, is with Boise's Nathan Barry with Eagles' Russell Brunson. Nathan Barry founding KIT, which is like MailChimp, but even better. It's insane. I've followed that kid's career forever. Multi-millionaire, Tom Brady, Arnold Schwarzenegger uses his stuff. The guy that Tim Ferriss is one of his buddies, the 4-hour jabroni. And Russell Brunson, obviously, ClickFunnels and his kinetic energy. But you have two guys from Idaho, and they go back and forth of the digital world. And they try to talk politics a little. And it's such a different world. But again, there's a different audience for that than what we do here. As you've pointed out, it's not the same.
Well, that's the greatest challenge of anybody in leadership is channel development and getting to the ears of those that don't normally hear it every day. The ones that are in politics here are recycling their own info thoughts all day, every day. It's just the same addicted little people. I'm one of them. I listen to it, but what good is it to discover me? I already listen. It's all about getting new ears. It's all about channels, and we'll see how that happens. We'll see if we can get something going.
Dylan Stocker, we appreciate you. Thank you, as always.
Thank you, Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO, always every day, my friend. Radio, radio, radio.
Every day, all the way. 1 mile, no sweat. 2 miles, better yet. We roll on. Let's go to 580 KIDO traffic from Treasure Valley Subaru. And 16, 17 years ago, I'm out here, a little over there by myself. I didn't have Ugo. I think Ugo was in like 3rd grade. And you come up to me and you say, "Hey, what's your name?" And I said, "My name's Kevin. I'm on the radio." And here we are so many years later.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's how it all began.
It was early, it was my early tenure as a general manager. And some really smart people said, radio's hot in this town. And Kevin Miller is, he's a place you need to be.
No, I think you said, who's the little kid over there? The KIDO radio.
KIDO.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing when we go somewhere. But it's been an incredible run when you think of all the charitable works that you guys do, and you're getting ready to you broke your routine to come over here because you're going to go make sandwiches.
That's right. Yeah, with the mission. I was on TV yesterday with Reverend Bill, who's on his final few days. Maybe they haven't found anybody yet. So
wow,
we don't know.
Have they offered it to you yet?
It's funny. He said that yesterday.
Yes.
He said that yesterday. I said, come on.
Yeah.
You got to find somebody that, can take the time and really care for these people.
They've asked me, but I said I'm still in love with the Godless Corporation, and they love me. So, it's...
That's my favorite.
We love the Godless Corporation. The Godless Corporation loves us. These community events, what do they mean to you?
Cool? Isn't it cool watching these kids work?
Oh, yeah.
As I walked up and... they have a great time with this. They got their 4-H gear on. They're all just flipping, making eggs, waffles. I guess those are pancakes.
I think that the term is flapjacks.
Flapjacks. It's happening here at the Snake River Stampede Buckaroo Breakfast.
Yeah.
I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good.
You did. Proper branding. And when we take a look at the community, obviously the Humane Society, the West Valley Humane Society, the Fiddlers, the Harmonica Convention, so many things going on. What's going on with you guys this summer at Treasure Valley Subaru?
I'm glad you mentioned that because that Subaru makes us choose our 2 charities for next year, and we're really blessed to go with the West Valley Humane Society, who you are adorning with your presence as a board member. Is that going to continue?
Yes.
Great.
Yes. I find myself...
Forever?
Yeah, well, for a while, yes. And, like I said, I work for 2 people besides the Godless Corporation, actually 3. Mrs. Miller, Reverend Bill, and you. And not necessarily in that order. It just depends on really what goes on. But, yes, the West Valley Humane Society, obviously Canyon County. We continue to work on our partnerships. We've got a new mayor now in Nampa. We've got a new mayor in Caldwell. Kenyon County, everybody's coming together. And obviously, Subaru Share the Love, Treasure Valley Subaru, we couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah, so Boise Rescue Mission and West Valley Humane Society will be our 2 Share the Love partners next year, and hopefully, I think we can get to $100,000. We got to split it. We're going to $50,000, $50,000. That's going to take a lot of Subarus sold in November and December, but as a community, I know we can do it. And then we're gonna help some cats and dogs. We're not going to leave the Idaho Humane Society. We're still partnering up with them, and then whenever we can, we're gonna hook the 2 together for all their functions, and
Well, that'll be awesome. And when you think about growing the brand, how have you done that? I mean, you're relatively new. I remember when you were out here doing groundbreaking before Amazon. It was you, me, and a hard hat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gold shovels.
Yes.
That was a big day.
Yeah.
You were the spokesmodel that day.
And I appreciate that. I mean, you partner with a lot of radio
You actually
people.
had a suit on.
I did.
I remember correctly.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Well, it can happen.
It does. That's my past life wearing suits.
But you weren't as diminutive as you are now.
I've lost 121 pounds.
Wow.
So
you were
I've got
at that point 6 years ago, you were 121 pounds heavier.
Oh yeah, I was about 367. So I've got another 100 to go.
Good for you.
So
good for you. You look great. You're great.
Well, thank you. I don't know if I'm
you're committed. I'm in kind of the same fitness program you are, where eat right.
You're running.
I'm running.
Yeah.
It's great.
Dr. Livingston, please have a seat here. Our great friend, Dr. Livingston. You remember Rob Studebaker?
We're talking about really important things over here. His fitness.
Oh, Dr. Livingston's a doctor. He knows all about it. He's also a Buckeye, like you.
All right.
Yeah.
Dayton, Ohio.
Actually, Dr. Livingston, we're on the air, so if you want to talk to him, you got to put on the headset. It's very informal here. So, this at one time was a Emmy-nominated show, award-winning show, and, now it's an old shoe. But, if the shoe fits, wear it. The macaroni. Yes, I did. I did win the Livingston Award, and
oftentimes called the Livy.
Yes, the Livy. Yes, for some reason, your microphone isn't. That's Rob's microphone. Let me try this one over here. There we go. Go ahead, Dr. Livingston. Go ahead.
1, 2, check.
I just said
there he is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sibilance.
You won the well-known but little described Livy Award.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, several years in a row, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Kevin, tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a very distinguished honor in honor of community service.
Yes.
Being very stubborn. And being
slightly cantankerous, one might say.
Yes. More than slightly. A curmudgeon. Contrarian.
Curmudgeon.
And, of course, from Ohio, where all good things come from.
I was going to say I went to college at Wittenberg.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. My brother, I'm from Dayton, and my brother went up to Indiana, went to Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Manchester College.
I grew up in Columbus.
With all due respect, we're really alienating our great friends in Idaho, where we all choose to live.
Okay, well,
I know this is Buckeye reunion.
Yeah, but
today,
my dad did flunk out of Ohio State. So that's
the Ohio State University. That's what the Buckeyes say.
He loves when I talk about that.
Well, he was probably just like half the football team.
Yeah.
Dr. Livingston coming on strong today. Rob Studebaker, we take a look at, again, the challenges facing the community. When you talk to Reverend Bill, when you talk to the Humane Society, what do they tell you?
Yeah, we're gonna get as many people off the streets as we can. And there's a lot of people that are broken, specifically women and children. It's growing more than any other. Almost 50% of their nightly folks are women and children and elderly. So if there's ever a time when you can take a few of your ancillary dollars and get to some organization that's really caring for people, this is the time. Boise Rescue Mission needs your help. They got facilities all over. It takes them $13.5 million a year to run this thing, and it's all funded with the good Christians that are out there.
No government
help.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the great community assets we have, absolutely. And we got to make sure it keeps going.
We got to keep it going. Yeah. Right. And Reverend's still with them, and he should be for a while because they haven't found a replacement. But either way, we're going to be there for them.
Good.
They're doing the right stuff for the community.
Well, indeed. We couldn't do it without so many Treasure Valley Subarus. By the way, I see them all the time now, growing the brand. Can you give us an insight into how you did that? How you continue to do that?
Well, the 4-H is doing such a good job out here. It's kind of amazing. Snake River Stampede, they're doing it right.
I'll tell you the problem with Subarus is they last so long. I have a son who's had a Subaru for 16 years.
We got a service department here.
Yeah, we're blessed with how good they are. Well, what you've noticed, hopefully, is the green plate. That's hope. But during COVID, it was a month. You had a month to register. Now you only have 3 days again, so you only get to see the green insert from Treasure Valley Subaru for a couple of days. Anyway, what a great event, huh?
By the way, Mr. Studebaker, you've got to go do your sandwich making. And are you in Boise or are you in Nampa?
Nampa. So there's a facility that's kind of down one of the back roads in Nampa that they still have.
The lighthouse.
The lighthouse, yeah. And they're going to turn it back into a men's shelter here before too long because they've got more folks right now.
Wow.
They got to get them out of the heat. They got to get folks out of the heat.
It's supposed to be 97 today. So one of the great, wonderful aspects of this rodeo is it's indoors.
Yes.
I love it that it's indoors.
But you're standing outside.
Yes. Watching the wall.
At least this morning.
Yes.
This morning.
Yes.
Are you here all day?
No, just till 10, and then it's off to work for my various entities, you, Reverend Bill, Mrs. Miller Enterprises, the Godless Corporation, probably Steely Dan, who's been playing all morning long. So there we have it. Final thoughts here with Mr. Studebaker and Dr. Livingston. What do you guys think of college football coming back? A lot of changes going on.
A lot of changes. Thanks for being here for us in the community. I'm going to tell you this, that without you, there's a lot of charities that wouldn't be what they are today. So we know your commitment to Camp Rainbow Gold Camp's back in season.
Well, yeah, we've had several calls from them. Lonnie and the crew, Elizabeth, they've all been calling in this last week and this week and next week.
That's great.
Yeah.
And they're caring for kids that are also at their worst or and struggling to survive.
He should go into politics. He hasn't answered one question, has he, in this segment?
He's good.
Yeah.
He keeps trying to rope me into these little things. We're talking about charity.
My man. Rob Studebaker, Treasure Valley Subaru. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. I got a cold, so I'm not going to. I know
that's probably smart.
Exactly. All right, more coming up. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO.
KIDO Talk Radio.
436-580 KIDO. If you're thinking, what's the deal with Steely Dan? Well, it happens twice a year. Yesterday it was the country and western folks. Today it is the steel guitar. We are celebrating the West here at the State Stampede. We've got the mayor of Nampa, Darrell Bruno, that's going to be joining us. We saw Representative Skog. Maybe we can get him to come by. We're waiting for Tea Party Bob. We've got a few others. And we're, again, taking your calls about the issues that matter to you. 580-5436, 580-KID. We've even had people from the Idaho Broadcasters Association come by, and the Historical Society, run by our friends Art and David. But again, Nampa has a new mayor, and recently he was just sworn in. Let's take a listen.
Sworn in after City Council voted to appoint him after the sudden death of Mayor Rick Hogeboom. I'm your Nampa neighborhood reporter, Keith Brill, explaining why he says he wants to follow the path that Rick Hogeboom set forward.
Darrell Bruner's first official act as mayor was taking the oath. 1 week after Nampa City Council appointed him to finish the term of late Mayor Rick Hogeboom, Bruner says he knows he is stepping into a role with the momentum and passion of Rick already behind it.
The folks, the directors, the staff here, I've met with many of them this past week, and I am just so impressed. And with their guidance and skill sets, we're going to do our very best to follow his path.
That path, Bruner says, includes a focus on policing and infrastructure. Bruner's appointment came after weeks of failed votes, a month-long pause, and an open meeting law issue tied to the appointment process. But with the mayor's seat now filled, the next leadership question is already in front of the council. That question centers on a chief of staff position for the city. Created under Mayor Hogaboam, the position is currently held by Clay Long, who says changing the job description could better reflect how he and Hogaboam work together. But not all council members agree. Dale Reynolds says some conversations are drifting toward whether Nampa should move to a city administrator or a city manager model.
If we change the form of governance, then we need to go to the voters with that to change that form of governance.
For now, Reynolds.
By the way, we saw Dale yesterday. He was here at the Buckaroo Breakfast. It is Old Home Day. You want to remind you, and you know, you're right, Sweet William, we haven't given away tickets to the Boise Music Festival. So why don't we do that between now and, 8 o'clock. We'll give you tickets to the Boise Music Festival at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Caller 10 when we do that. But Darrell Bruner will be joining us as well as some other folks. Like I said, breakfast is rolling until 10. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And like I said before, we appreciate that. So, and you know something? We're going to see how close you are to listening. We'll do that family 4-pack right now. Caller 10 at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We're just a couple weeks away from the Boise Music Festival. It's going to be big. You've got Marshmello. You've got not only Marshmello, Sean Paul, Everclear, a great bunch of local acts. Not only that, but then you've got some great deals going on with the carnival, and it's free. Now, we can talk about where you've been and what you've done and everything else, but to me, this is the largest free music festival in the country. And all you have to do is listen to win. All you have to do is listen to win. And it's very simple. When you hear the cue to call, caller 10, you're going to win some tickets to the music festival. We want to see you there as we're seeing people here at the Snake River Stampede's Buckaroo Breakfast. We want to make sure that you're taken care of. So those are some of the issues we're yapping about here. We'll play some more clips, and again, we'll get you to work safely and on time. Phone numbers here. You've got them. Website here. We roll on. Roger. Thank you, Rob. Yes, have a seat there, Dr. Livingston. So joining us now is Dr. Livingston. Rocky, have a seat right here. Dr. Livingston, this is what I love about this show. People come to the show, but then they start yapping to people. Let me see if this is the right one. Go ahead and speak.
Test.
Okay, let's try this one here. Go ahead.
Test.
All right, there we are. So Dr. Livingston joining us here, and what I love about you is you and I talk about all things sports and politics. It's where we all converge, right?
That's right.
So we take a look at, I don't know if you caught the 6 o'clock hour with Dylan. He was pretty brutal. Your thoughts on this whole convention that we're really not covering, because to me, it just seems like a lot of toxicity. But how do you see this playing out? Who's going to be the leader of the Republican Party?
The leader of the Republican Party after this convention will be whoever Mike Moyle wants it to be. Mike Moyle is calling all the shots.
Oh, it's my neighbor Linda. Linda, you're looking good.
Thank you.
All right, there we have it. There we have it, representing the hood.
Yeah.
Boy, that is interesting.
Absolutely.
Oh, congratulations, Simone, for winning the ticket. So wait a minute now. Why do you say Mike Moyle? Because a lot of people believe the Speaker of the House, he might not be the Speaker coming up in this legislative session. So how does he have the power to make this happen, in your opinion?
I think that in the back channel, first of all, and we've talked about this before, and I've emailed you about this before, we're missing the single biggest issue in the election, and that issue is corruption in government. Nobody's talking about it. And
well, what do you mean by that?
Well, I'm thinking about
we'll just go allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I think that
I mean, that's a big charge, corruption in government.
Corruption in state government. And I'm talking about Medicaid specifically. And if you want to take one little slice of that, Medicaid is the Idaho Health Data Exchange, where $100 million was lost and nobody knows where it is. Now, $100 million, the state Medicaid budget, by the way, is $5 billion out of a $15 billion state budget. But $100 million, we could easily audit that. And we could audit all the Medicaid transactions that occur between providers and carriers. And I'm not saying it's as bad as the state of Minnesota, because I don't think it is.
Sure.
But if it was 1/10 as bad,
that doesn't move the needle. You may be right, but that doesn't move the needle.
And that's exactly the problem. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Well, but again, you've had the failed attempt to repeal the grocery tax. You've had property tax. You've got a lot of things that are a little bit more sexy that the ball's been dropped. We have a challenge to our pro-life law. We have the dope coming in.
Absolutely.
And really, you have people fighting amongst themselves. Dr. Livingston, I need you to focus now. I know Cowboy Calvin is very physically alluring, but I need you to focus.
Not as alluring as you, though. You've lost a lot of weight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. A lot of fasting, really. It's very strange how that's worked. However, back to this, and then if you criticize the chairman, you're a bad person.
Dorothy Moon is incredibly intelligent, and her greatest skill is her ability to organize.
Yeah.
Her greatest weakness is fundraising. She cannot raise money, and that's the problem. The Idaho Republican Party, the majority party in this state by 60 to 35% or something, has raised less money than the Democratic Party.
Yep.
And that's going to be the problem. But
we're going to grab the mayor of Nampa real quick. Hold on, Dr. Livingston. I know we only have him for a couple seconds. We've seen him around for many, many years. And we'll just put this on.
Been around a few years.
Well, I understand, sir. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Kevin.
I know you only have brief time, and what I love about you is you don't tuck your shirt in like me, sir. So,
my wife informs me how I'm supposed to dress.
Well, she has you on the right path. Anything that you would like to say, sir, and we'll get you on, but I know you're very busy.
Well, I mean, as far as busy, we've got such a wonderful directors and department heads and people like Amy Bowman, our communications director, that, they're handling things so well. And since the tragic passing of our mayor, Rick Hogeboom, I mean, they've been doing day in and day out. And even though I didn't start officially until late last night, last week when I was in there, I mean, they are just carrying on. And my plan, and I think their plan is too, is to carry on the path of what Rick set forth. So that's our plan.
You doing all right?
I am. I mean, we got, and I've been retired for 2 years.
Yeah, welcome back.
So I was up at 2:30 this morning, and we ran a council meeting until 9 o'clock last night. So, but I kind of feel like I'm back in the old decades ago restaurant business where it was 80 hours a week. So we'll see.
Yeah, I need to talk to you about the restaurant business. I'm so fascinated with that.
Yeah.
Because people buy the experience, not the food. That's what they say.
Well, yeah, I think that's true. Your main thing is you just have to have a consistency, and it's been 4 decades that I've been out of the restaurant business. So, but if you're going to have repeat customers, you got to do things right and do it on a consistent basis. So,
well, sir, we appreciate you.
All
we
right.
know you got to run, but we don't want to take any more of your time. But thank you for taking time for us.
I appreciate all you do, Kevin, and the folks like this that talk to you, and I listen to you quite often in the morning. So appreciate it very much.
God bless, sir.
Service.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Good to see you.
Thank you, sir. Bo, Sweet William, the gang is all here. I do want to thank Mayor Bruno for joining us from Nampa. We've got the Rodeo Queens. Let's see if I've got this right. Dr. Livingston, is that you? Okay, we'll try it again on this one. Go ahead, please.
Test. Yeah.
All right, there we go. Test. So we were talking about the fascinating thing is, in your opinion, it's going to be who Mike Moyle. Mike Moyle is the kingmaker here.
Mike Moyle's the kingmaker.
So what I don't understand is, man, that GOP thing, I've known Barry Peterson, Norm Semenko, Jonathan Parker, Steve Yates, Raul Labrador, Tom Luna. I apologize if I'm leaving someone out. That is the most thankless position that you can have.
Absolutely.
And you have people that criticize the current chair, who, in full disclosure, is not a fan of me, my show, or any of my values, and on this air question whether or not I'm a Republican. That having been said, unlike her, I will be fair. So she works very hard, very passionate. she has the best person to support her, Tea Party Bob. He and I almost come to blows over her. But I know my parents are distracting as well, Dr. Livingston. But back to focus. Why would she want to do this some more?
I have no idea. She has great skills, organizational skills. And like we mentioned, her weakness is fundraising. And that,
but as I argued before, and with all due respect, anyone who isn't a member of the establishment was going to be cut off.
That's right.
Parker dealt with it. Yates dealt with it. Everybody dealt with it. And it doesn't really matter if you're not part of the boys club, you're not getting any money. And I told her that to her face when she was elected. So it's not just her. She ain't part of the team. Nobody is, unless you're part of the boys.
And you've got it right. You've got the ground. You got what's going on the ground perfect. What surprised me was seeing this symbiotic relationship between Mike and Dorothy. And that was very surprising to me.
And there are a lot of people that have been critical of the speaker. The speaker, as you know, has always been good friend to this program. But you have people that have targeted him.
Yes.
Run flyers against him. Then we have the Young Americans for Liberty group that have targeted him. And you think Mike Moyle, it's the same guy you see on the tractor in Star. But he does have his critics. So what are we missing here with Mike Moyle?
Oh, I'm a big fan of Mike. In fact, if Mike were to run for governor, I would hand out flyers door to door for him, and that's the honest to God. I have handed out flyers door to door for Mike in his last election, but I don't understand, nor am I privy to, the inside politics of what's going on. I just know that Mike can straddle the fence better than anybody else and get both factions in the Republican Party to come together. And right now it appears that he's supporting Dorothy. And if he does support Dorothy, she'll win.
Even though his speakership, again, this isn't Kevin Miller, these are the people I talked to, say is in jeopardy.
His speakership's always been in jeopardy. In fact, this last time around, remember, he had to fight for that speakership. And
what I don't get is people are highly critical of him. However, with all due respect to the lieutenant governor, it was a very different world when he was the speaker.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was like the Jim Guthrie of the House.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand it.
All I know is that the one endearing quality of Mike Moyle to me is, of all the senior leadership in the Republican Party, he's the one less aligned with special interests. He's not attached to the hospitals. He's not attached to IACI. He's not attached to the teachers union, although he's towed the line with the teachers a little bit. Mike is the only person in senior leadership that's not beholden to special interests. And for that reason, that's why I support him.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating. And, it's funny. Dylan was giving me a hard time about this. When you look at the lives of people here, obviously, people listening to talk radio are engaged. But as the general populace, I mean, you have to have a very unique focus and perspective to be involved politically.
I was listening to your 6 a.m. segment.
Oh, boy, yes.
And talking about older people and younger people.
Yes.
And it's truly been my prayer that... you've talked about this yourself, about another great awakening in our country and people coming to God and Jesus, and that's the most important thing. We attend to those issues, especially seeing young people coming to God and Jesus. I was talking to one of your guests about the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and membership in that organization is growing. Membership in the Catholic Church is growing exponentially. And who's doing that? It's young people. So I think young people are finally becoming engaged, and they're looking at the important things in life. They're looking at their faith and their family. And I think as they mature and their kids start to grow up more and more, and they realize, what kind of world are they going to live in? Well, they will become re-engaged in politics.
And I think it's very different because you have the battle for the heart and soul of Charlie Kirk. And it's that Turning Point USA vibe that I think is fueling a lot of that politically.
Yes.
Again, we take a look in this state, though. You're either with the governor or you're with Dorothy Moon. There's really nowhere in the middle for anybody, it seems.
I know. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
So
unless you're Mike Moyle. I don't know if he has a camp or not.
There you go. And that's his strength. He's able to straddle the fence better than anybody that I know.
Yeah.
He's outstanding at it. Let me say one thing about the governor. You got to... I had dinner last night with a man who was a fraternity brother of the governor at the University of Idaho. And he told me a story about how he got a flat tire 30 miles outside of Moscow on a Saturday night at 2 in the morning. And the governor, who was a college student at the time, got in his car, came out and helped him.
Yeah.
And it was a very endearing story. I have tremendous respect for the governor as a family man, as and his values, when abortion, transgender issues, marijuana. His values are very much aligned with mine. More so, I might say, than Dorothy Moon's are. Dorothy has a very libertarian point of view on many of these issues. Many of these issues, like the former head of the Idaho Freedom Foundation had. Very libertarian views. I'm a conservative.
Yes.
And I'm not a libertarian. But my objection with the governor is his closeness to special interests. And I mentioned IACI and the IHA and the IMA and the teachers' unions. And now it seems the dairy farmers.
But you would say he's brilliantly co-opted them, and he's done enough on his right flank to avoid any challenge from, let's say, a Raul or a Russ. He's taken all the money and everything else, but he's not given oxygen to the opposition.
The issue is not whether he's co-opted them, it's whether they have co-opted him.
That's a very good point. 580 KIDO, Dr. Livingston with us, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. That's a fascinating point when you think about the governor. And I would say this. I think that he's more brilliant politically than his predecessor.
Absolutely.
His predecessor relied on an unprecedented amount of charisma. Yes.
That's exactly right.
Brad Little had to work on all that. Now, again, he had the advantage, he had the organization, he had the financial resources. But you talk to Tommy Ahlquist, years younger, when they ran the campaign to end all campaigns in 2018. The next time we'll see it is the next go around. But you talk, I guess 2030. Tommy would, 20, 30 years on the governor, Brad Little would be there waiting for him at everything. And nobody could outwork him. So, and I think a lot of the critics of him, they don't give him his props for what he does.
I'll tell you what, I honestly think, and I've grown into this, I think Brad is a brilliant politician.
Yes, I would say.
And he's not the traditional retail politician. Most of his politics are done out of sight of the press and even out of sight of his constituents.
Very much like Mike Simpson.
Very much like Mike Simpson.
Yep.
Absolutely, I agree. Yep.
No, I go back to it, and again, it's not like I'm boys with the governor. But I will say this: he's always been very respectful and very nice to me, which is more than I could say for the people that criticize him.
And that's a key point too, and that gets us back to Dorothy.
Well, no, and that's who I was referring to. Yes.
Mike or the governor can disagree with you in a very civil fashion, and I don't know whether he holds grudges, but publicly he doesn't try to humiliate his opponents. He's gracious. There's a sense of graciousness about him.
Now it's fascinating if the governor gets reelected, if other people get reelected, this new legislature. I think that we've got a couple of issues. The governor has made a great run with this being the most unregulated state in the nation. However, there's a downside to that. And we have people looking at mining, we're looking at water, looking at the old backbone environmental issues, that if you're unregulated, you can get away with a lot more than you could. Now, remember, he's a conservationist. He works the land. That's going to be an interesting dynamic to see if these mining interests, as we've heard, come into the state and want to chew us up.
Well, as far as those issues are concerned, the single biggest issue, and everybody knows it, everybody here at the Buckaroo Breakfast knows, is water. what are we going to do for water in the next 20 or 30 years?
And yet no one's talking about it except Scott Becky.
Nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. And that's going to be a big issue. I as far as regulation is concerned, I want to be very careful when I say this. I think that the relationship between the politicians and the corporate lobbyists, special interests in this state. Let me give you an example. I was in New Orleans several years ago, and I mentioned I was from Boise, Idaho, to a financial consultant down there. And he said, oh, my goodness. He said, there's only one state worse than Louisiana as far as civic corporate collusion is concerned. And I said, what state is that? And he said, Idaho. And I think he's right. I didn't believe him at the time, but I think he's right. And it's really sad, and it's both at the state level and the municipal level. Politicians every 2 years go around asking for your vote, and as soon as the election's over, they're having lunch at the country club or at the Air Club with a lobbyist or a corporate leader, and they forget about the voter. And that's going to be what the Republican Party is going to have to deal with.
Well, I think, and again, and I agree with you, but besides the guy there, that's my mom who keeps waving at you, by the way. Let me put it to you this way. Besides this guy coming up that's probably going to beat me for 2.5 hours, Tea Party Bob, there is no one that holds people accountable. Dr. Livingston, focus. Dr. Livingston, we're on the air, focus. So that holds people accountable. And, you know, starting a taxpayer group is easier said than done. But whether it's Boise, whether it's Ada County, whether it's Canyon County, a nonpartisan group that has nothing better to do than look at how the taxes are being spent would be something. You've lost a lot of weight.
How you doing?
You've lost a lot of weight. You look good. Good for you. Take care. So that I think that's the issue when the Ada County Commissioners now just said, we've got to raise taxes to keep the lights on. What the heck is going on? Look, this guy ran major corporations and a fence company, which I love. I'm fascinated on him on the fence company. Oh, look at him. He's all set to go, man. He's ready to go here. Tea Party Bob.
I'm going to step aside and let...
You're not going to back me up here with this guy? You're going to feed me to the Lions?
I love this guy.
But before you go, please don't leave me. My point, and to everybody listening at 580-5436 is there's not going to be accountability unless people do the work that this guy does.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what he does with the Gem State Patriot. It's not just... It's for this state, but I get emails and texts from all over the country from readers of the Gem State Patriot. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
We don't quite disagree, or should we say agree on everything. We disagree on quite a few things.
We do.
But, yeah.
We do.
But we let him write whatever he wants to.
I appreciate that, by the way.
There we have it. Our great friend Tea Party Bob from the Gem State Patriot. How you been?
I've been trying to get some sleep.
Well, welcome home.
Yeah, I am going home today, so yes, it is a welcome home.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to share with us?
Well, I mean, I disagree with a lot of the things
but
that
you know something,
the
hold on.
said.
And you know something, this is where, look, I open it up. You go ahead. I love you to death. You're
look,
my friend.
I have my druthers. I look at what's happened in Idaho as something that's happened in every other state that I have lived in and spent time in. And it begins with what you don't think is corruption, but favoritism. What favoritism becomes is corruption. And that's what we're starting to see here, and we have been seeing it for probably the last 4 to 5 years. And when you start to see that happen, you need to have change. We haven't had change in 20 years. The same people have been running the government in Idaho. It started with Kemp Thorne, and then it became our good friend, guess who? Otter. And then we had the transition, and then Little came in. So there's been no real change in Idaho. The same people have been doing the same thing. And you wonder why our budget expanded from $6 billion to $14 billion. It's very simple. too much favoritism, which became too much corruption. And when Doc talked about 100 million gone missing for the health data exchange, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think you'll remember back when we saw our good friend Butch Otter try to get Props 1, 2, and 3 through, where everybody in the school was going to get a computer. Who do you think was going to supply those computers? Well, we had a big company here that was a computer company. I'm not going to mention the name. Everybody knows that. He had the Tea Party so befoozled that we were backing it until we found out what was up. And then it changed. So I don't trust the politicians that are currently in office. And as I saw 5 conservatives that were removed from their seats because of money, nothing but ag and corporate money is the reason they went.
Now, are you talking about the Gang of 8?
I'm talking about 5 conservatives.
No, I'm not getting. I'm just asking you because I don't know.
I'm not sure whether they were all part of the Gang of 8. Some of them were. Okay. My point is they do not want anyone to interfere with what they're doing. And let me tell you this. You're looking at $400 million we spend a year in taxes for illegal immigration, illegals who are working for the ag and the corporations. I have said this many times. The ag people, we are subsidizing them with our taxes because that $400 million pays for their kids' education, their medical bills, and their SNAP food. We subsidize these people.
And yet there were 14 bills and none of them passed the Republican-dominated legislature.
Not only that, but you had 5 constitutional officers in our government, including the governor and lieutenant governor, who backed
Jim Guthrie.
Yes.
By the way, and Raul Labrador, the attorney general, backed the opposition, which shows you the division there.
Sure.
Yep.
But who do you trust? I trust Labrador much more than I trust our good friend Little or any of those other guys. And as far as my good friend, who you talk about all the time, Mike Moyle.
Oh, yeah.
Mike is a fence sitter. He has been forever. Do I think he's a bad guy? No. Do I think he is somebody who can be swayed by this corrupt group that have been in there for years? Yes, I do.
By the way, he says Mike Moyle is going to determine who the GOP chairman is. Do you agree with that?
I don't know what Mike's up to.
Well, are you going to respond, or are you just going to let him run all over you?
My answer to that is what we used to say in sports when their opponent came up to you before the game and said, "We're going to kick your butts," and the answer is, "We'll see. We'll see." And
proof of the pudding is in the eating.
That's right. We'll see.
I can relate to that.
I know.
We'll
so
see.
Can I.
I think that what I've seen here in the last in our little fight with what happened at our plantation golf course showed me right what we're talking about is the symbiotic relationship between the special interests and people in government is a hurdle that the individual citizen is increasingly having more difficult jumping over. It's a tremendously powerful liaison, and whether it's a round of golf at the golf course or dinner at the Air Club or who knows, or your pass paid for at the governor's cup. It seems that being able to pay off a politician is getting easier and easier in this. And I'm not saying that it's illegal. Corruption can be legal or illegal, but like Robert mentioned, there's a steady march from favoritism to corruption, and I think that we've crossed that line here in this state.
When you get 700 lobbyists down at the State House at any given time during a legislative year, that is dangerous. And we know that they are changing things in our state because this is what they want, not what the people want. Legislators no longer care what the people want. There are very few who do. And the ones who do, they keep moving them out and putting in place the ones that are going to do their bidding. It's been happening here for years. I saw it happen in New Jersey. I saw it happen in New York. I saw it happen in Denver. It's change. They want to move more and more not necessary illegals, but foreign workers into this state. And who's going to get hurt? The people who live here, who grew up here.
And more coming up next. Dr. Livingston, we appreciate you as all. Don't put down your headset yet. We appreciate you as always. Tea Party Bob, the beatdown will continue. Cowboy Calvin is dancing with a woman. Look, she has leather pants on and holes in the pants. All right, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio, 580 KIDO. You know, have I taught you nothing over our years together? No. You know, I always call you the Casanova, but Cowboy Calvin with the cowgirl there moments ago. What'd you think of that?
Hello, lover boy.
Wow. Tea Party Bob joining us now at 580 KIDO. I think we've covered the statewide issues, but, you know, we take a look at this Iranian deal. We've got J.D. Vance out, selling it. What do you make of it?
I don't know why you have to sell something that we knew it was going to happen. President Trump has been very forthright and forward with what he's done with this operation. He's told you everything that's going on. But it's still the liberal media that wants to diss him, that wants to beat him up, that wants to say he doesn't know what he's doing. This $300 billion they're talking about, the first words out of their mouth were how much of our money is going there. And then yesterday we listened to this argument about we spent $100 billion on this war. Nobody talks about Biden spending $300 billion in Ukraine.
Well, a lot of people would say that's regional bias because Ukraine is European and we're talking about the Middle East.
Oh, you mean the Europeans that came to our aid when we had to close the strait? Is that the Europe you're talking about?
Yeah.
Why are we defending them? They don't care.
Well, I think that's an issue that's being discussed at the G7 right now. By the way, Kamala Harris, are you familiar with her? Kamala?
Unfortunately, I have been used to her word salads.
All right, let's hear what she has to say.
You never start this war.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And let's be clear about this. Let's be clear about this. Thank you, Tim. Let's be clear about this. Whatever is being negotiated, this president is going to declare victory and will end up where we were after the JCPOA and call that a victory, the JCPOA that he withdrew from.
The Obama nuclear agreement. And so you're not, I mean, that's your thought on this potential deal this week?
I have more thoughts, but that's not why we're here.
Yeah, sure.
So we can,
Well,
so there we have Kamala saying, you know, echoing a lot of people with the liberal media, saying that the war was unnecessary, the war was this, the war was that. Your thoughts?
Why didn't she get elected?
Well, obviously, she was a horrible candidate.
Absolutely. She also would make a horrible president. She has no idea of what actually was going on over in Iran. When she talks about the JCPOA, that's why they got all of this enriched uranium. Obama and Biden gave them billions. That's what they used to create the uranium that's enriched to 60%. That's why they were going to have a nuclear bomb. We had two idiots running this country for a sum total of 12 years. And nothing's going to change that. So all that I hear from Obama and all that I hear from the Biden group or Kamala is, he doesn't know what he's doing. Well, they sure didn't make things any better. What do you think happened on October 7th?
Well, and again, it comes down, and who had the money to do that? It was the folks because of that. So phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. But you have this narrative, and I'm not saying that it's right, of people essentially going through this, doing their own thing, coming up with their own fake news, if you will. And you have the media. I mean, she makes it sound like she's cheering for the Iranians.
She is.
And they're living in this alternate world where the mullahs, they're not kind to women. They're not kind to the gay people. They're not kind to anybody.
Anybody who thinks Kamala is anything but a radical is out of their mind. I mean, look at where the Democrats have been going with their candidates. Look at this schmutz from Maine. I mean, look at all of them that are running. The guy down in Texas. I mean, they are grasping at straws. They know that they need to be more radical if they're going to get any kind of a foothold at all. My best bet is they're going to lose big in the midterms.
More coming up with Tea Party Bob, and coming up next.
Donald Trump is selling the presidency. He's running the largest cash heist in American political history, trading foreign tariff relief for approval of his golf courses, day trading behind the Resolute desk, reaping hundreds of millions of dollars in personal profit. And he's doing it openly. He's doing it on camera. He did it last night on the White House lawn. He's doing it through cryptocurrencies. He's doing it through the receipt of a $400 million private jet.
Gavin Newsom's mad. We'll tell you why next. Is he going to jail? 580 KIDO from the Buckaroo Breakfast. We roll on. Hope to see you here till 10. You know, of all the places you chose to live, why Idaho?
Believe me, I did a lot of homework before I came out here.
Yeah.
One of the best places to live for retirement. One of the quietest places. One of the least political places.
Not anymore.
No. Well, I've been here 33 years. The same changes have taken place here as they took place in New York, New Jersey, and Colorado.
And speaking of all things politics, here he is, David Ferdinand.
Hey, wait a minute. And, you know, I don't know if Bob knows this, but in my early years, I left Idaho and had a job in Hackensack, New Jersey.
I know it well.
Paramus, and, you know, we had an office in Midtown Manhattan, and I was probably around 23, 24 years old, and I thought, what in the world is going on? We don't want that in Idaho.
Oh, you don't?
But it's headed this way, man. We're seeing all kinds of crazy stuff. Anyway, that was a good experience, though, Kevin. The experiencing what it was like from the standpoint of hiring sales guys and meeting people from Tom's River, you know, and Philadelphia and all of these places where they had to take 3 hours to get in on the railroad train to go to work. We want that?
Hey, I was 25 miles away and it took me 2 hours.
David Ferdinand, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Nampa, Canyon County. We had Mayor Bruner on.
Hey, I was going to say, I heard that this morning, and I was at the swearing-in ceremony. It was a very, very nice event. And, you know, Kevin, I think we've got us a mayor. You know, we've been without a mayor now. And, you know, last night at the city council meeting, and, of course, with the immediate experience that Darrell has had, you know, he did a great job just stepping right in and getting this thing going. And guess what, Kevin? You could tell he was listening to the city council and to what was happening on, you know, the events that were coming forth. So, hip, hip, hooray. Mayor Darrell Bruner is on the scene.
Well, shame what happened to Hogabaum. That's something that was totally unexpected. But I will tell you, anybody's better than Kling, who gives away things like this center.
Well,
so you don't like Mayor Kling anymore?
Ever since she started with this, I'm telling you.
You know, it's so funny because we make a lot of friends when we have Tea Party Bob on.
I love it.
Mayor Kling listens, so we'll see what happens.
Well, and let me tell you, you know, of course, I had a conversation with Mayor Kling just a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about what was going on and what was happening with the mayor position in Nampa. You got to have a mayor. You got to have a leader. Now, don't get me wrong. Our president of the city council, David Bills, has done I think a real good job trying to balance what was going on without somebody that could actually take the responsibility for making a decision to put the right agenda together. Because, hey, Kevin, you know, it's up to the city council to vote. It's not up to the mayor. Mayor breaks a vote, breaks a tie, but that's it. You know, guide that agenda. That's the important thing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Anyway, as far as the Ford Idaho Center, also, I did see Gordon Jones at the event last night, and it's always interesting to see, where's this thing going now that it's in the hands of
sure. And we
CWI.
won't let Tea Party Bob hijack your segment here.
Yeah.
So we take a look at economically in Canyon County. I remember when you were Canyon County Commissioner, you had to recruit people to come in here.
That's right.
We had Mitch on from the chamber.
Right.
Now you have businesses coming in. How is that working out for the county? I mean, you're doing commercial real estate.
Right.
You're wheeling and dealing. You're running wild as usual. What do you see as far as the business climate, the employment climate here?
There's a lot of people that are coming here because we have the right mix of water and land, and as you said, all of those things that make things work.
Well, you have better values than, let's say, in other places.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
And because of that, we have a lot of people looking at our area. And, of course, one of the things that we have to be very careful of is to make sure that we've got an eye to the future as to, okay, how are we going to do this? I even heard it at the city council last night as far as infrastructure and making sure that they plan and provide that infrastructure, because let me tell you something, in my opinion, we're paying taxes to make sure that our city council is planning to make sure that they've got the right infrastructure so that when people do come, and let me tell you something, we don't want people to stop coming. I hear this, stop, we don't need any more people. Let me tell you what happened in 2007, 8, and 9 when it all stopped, Kevin. I was a county commissioner at that time, and I'll tell you what, we did have to send people out of this state to other states close by to bring business. We've got businesses coming here today because they need certain kinds of land for their businesses, which, by the way, many of them are ag-related. They want to develop produce developing parcels so that they can then feed our nation from Idaho. So there's a lot of things going on, and especially in the area of our produce and other things. We're known for potatoes, but there's a lot of other stuff that's grown here as well, and we've got a lot of great farmers that are out here making things happen.
All right, David Ferdinand, we'll get you out on this one.
All right. What?
What's coming up, David Ferdinand?
What's coming up? God and Country Festival is coming up. Fact is, I'm out here with the
commissioners. You're doing all your work.
We're getting her done this morning. But July 1st, gates open 5:30. Event starts at 6:30. Ryan Reese, and of course, we've got the bicycles, the BMX. Flips and fun.
Are you going to be flipping? I hear he's going to.
No.
They're going to bring Ferdinand and have him flipping around.
We've got
How
a lot
about
of
this
fun
guy?
stuff.
Maybe we could get him to do the flips.
I think we should get Bob because as glib as Bob is,
Bob the Lib.
He could spin. I'm sure he could spin those wheels. So I think it'll work. But that's coming up July 1st. This is the 60th year for God and Country.
Free event.
Free event,
yep.
No charge to get in, and we got a lot of great folks coming. So, worship bands, all kinds of things happening. So, make sure you plan on that. That's Wednesday night, the 1st of July.
David Ferdinand, a hard-working man as always.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Just remember, when you say spin, blessed are they who walk around in circles, for they shall be called big wheels.
All right, yeah. Now he's being funny.
I like that.
He has to get it out of his system. All right. You go eat, David Ferdinand. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. More coming up next. 580-KIDO.
Nobody does.
Doesn't that drive you crazy? And I believe we're back at 580-KIDO. A lot of distractions here today.
Enormous distractions. I mean, a lot of nice people, though.
Yeah. We move on here and we'll take some more calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We started a little earlier with Gavin Newsom. Apparently he's going to be prosecuted, or like he's telling everybody that.
from a foreign government that he plans to keep when he leaves office, through his son's ventures in countries where his own administration is simultaneously making policy. His personal fortune has skyrocketed by $4 billion since making his return to office. This is the behavior of a regime, not a republic. The White House has become a marketplace for sneakers and coins and watches, cologne, guitars, Bibles, and phones. Influence for sale, access for sale.
Well, there we have it. Gavin Newsom now says he's a victim. He's going to be under indictment from the administration. Tea Party Bob joining us, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. What say you?
I'd say Gavin Newsom has a problem with his brain. And what he said just now, he forgets of all the theft he has done from the state of California to help what he calls the citizens of California.
Well, now that's quite an accusation when you're saying he's a thief.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question about it. He talks about where Trump gets his money. Where does Gavin get his money?
I hear he's related to the Getty family.
Oh, is that what it is? You think they give him any money?
Or Pelosi, I don't know. I know he's related to the Pelosi's. But you know, we live in I think a post-truth age, if you will. People are going to run with this and say, well, because Gavin says it, it's true. And then, you know, I mean, now you live in New Meadows, right?
Yep.
Do you have a lot of people from California there?
Maybe 10%.
Yeah? But they are coming in.
Yeah, they're coming in from California, Portland, not even Portland, from Washington and from Oregon, but mostly from the eastern part, the western part of the state. The eastern part, they don't want any part of what we have up there.
Well, no, you're right. They want to become part of Idaho, whether or not that'll happen. So we go back to California. People continue to exodus. People continue to, try to do other things. It's pretty wild, if you will.
Look, as I said before, we are going to see an influx of people in here that are not necessarily going to be the kind of people we want. I've seen it happen before. I see it happening here. I'm warning everybody. You're not going to take the warning, and I assure you, the change is taking place. It will continue until somebody stops it, and the electorate actually gets activated and says, no more. But they haven't done that so far. You did see a small portion get activated in this last primary when, is it Fitzpatrick that was running? He got almost 30% of the vote. That's significant, considering that the last time somebody ran, they got hardly anything.
Well, no, I mean, not to correct you, but Janice McGeehan and Ed Humphreys ran before. You're talking about the gubernatorial primary.
Yeah.
And then we could go back to the 2018, and then we go back to Russ Fulcher. What did Russ Fulcher get? He got a lot more than that.
Russ Fulcher did, yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about most recent.
But, but Russ Fulcher was a legitimate candidate.
Russ Fulcher was a legislator for a long time before he ran.
Right, no, but he was a legitimate candidate.
Yeah.
Mark Fitzpatrick is a lot of things.
He's a bartender.
Yep, yeah.
You know, I don't need a bartender to be running my state. I wouldn't have voted for him. He was the only guy on the ballot.
You know, when I had Dylan on at 6 a.m., I said this show has become the Angry Boomer show between you and my dad here.
Yeah, but by the same token, we've been through this. We've seen the change. Nobody wants to understand the change that we have seen take place. And until they accept that, and I doubt they're going to anytime soon, then nothing's going to change in this country or in this state.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
Well, these young people, the world didn't exist before they got here, and they like to recreate the wheel and recreate fire. I don't understand it, but they're astonished by it. But they don't want our advice, that's for sure. And like you say, nothing's going to change until it gets so dire. And yet we see these small events happening across this country that tell us it's happening. And I don't know, we turn a blind eye to it, and I guess we're expendable.
And you take a look at what happened after the Knicks game. Yeah, first time they won in 53 years. What did they do? They burned a bus. They burned some cars.
Oh, that's your New Yorkers.
Exactly. I'm telling you. If you don't think that's coming here, you're crazy.
That's the mob rule. The mob rule. Well, I don't think it's coming here. People have too many guns.
You don't think they have guns in New York?
Aren't you not allowed to have guns in New York?
I had guns pointed at me 3 times in New York and was shot at in a cab.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's you may have guns, but try and use them to defend yourself. See what happens.
That's the problem.
All right, traffic now at 580 KIDO. Let's get you to work safely and on time. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Kevin. From the Pacific Steel and Recycling Studio, still running slow coming out of Canyon County into Ada County this morning in the Meridian area. Stop and go traffic as well. Still finishing cleanup of that accident on Cleveland near Houston. Now's the perfect time to save money and get that annual maintenance done on your AC. Perfect Plumbing, Heating, and Air. They'll tune up your air conditioner for $29. Call Perfect while the heat is on. Schedule online at callperfectnow.com. I'm Dave Burnett. That's your traffic now on KIDO.
Back on the air. And we're back at 580 KIDO, the Buckaroo Breakfast. And, you know, one of the wonderful things that I love about the Buckaroo Breakfast is year after year they have, like, the cycles of life. They usually have people from the senior homes, and now we have the folks from the Canyon County Boys and Girls Club here and getting that free breakfast, which, you know, means a lot. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I got my ticket right in my pocket.
No, but what I'm saying is that these kids get a chance not only to get out, summer, school's out, get to come here, then they get to watch the Cowboys. For some of these kids, it's an introduction into the Western culture.
It's an introduction into serving others.
Yeah.
That's what it's an introduction.
You know, I've noticed ever since my dad comes on, you try to lecture me more than usual. Why is that?
I just try to straighten you out.
It's the Angry Boomers show. That's right.
I bring my iron every time I come.
It's like the Muppet Show, and I got the two guys. I used to be the guy up in the balcony. Now it's you two.
But you'll notice you don't have as many wrinkles as you used to have.
Actually, since I've lost 121 pounds, my wife has said I have an old face. I said thank you.
I don't.
It's not all stretched out. Well, I don't know if you're my target demographic, but I appreciate the compliment. You know, we go back to this, though, and this is what makes Idaho so special, is the community. On one moment, we're talking politics. The next minute, we're, again, looking at the Canyon County Boys and Girls Club, getting fed by the folks at the Snake River Stampede, the Buckaroo Breakfast. And you have kids on the farm that have been here since 5 in the morning, feeding kids that are total strangers that one day could be their friends.
Look, I have...
you know, it's funny. You ask him about politics, and he'll go on and on. You ask him about, like, sausage and eggs.
Look, I had 4 grandchildren grow up here. I brought them out here in '93, okay? They have grown up to be very upright, forthright citizens of this community. They know what it is to serve. They know what it is to work. They know what it is to make a difference. I still find many, many of the children here who don't learn that. And I don't know why that is. And I still think it's the blame of the system we have in teaching. And it's been going on for way too long. They don't teach anything about culture. They don't teach anything about economics. They don't teach anything about how do you write a checkbook? How do you write a check and account for things? They don't teach any of this stuff. Why do you think we have so many of these kids that are going bankrupt? Because I've got people I know who have just gotten married 2 years ago that are in debt to the tune of $100,000, but they only make $50,000 a year. It's like they have no responsibility.
Well, I hope that I think there's a change to get away from this college idea that everybody's going to have a college degree. And I listen to Mike Rowe a lot, and I like what he does. You know, he promotes the trades, and we need more of those trade people. And, you know, I look back and I go, why did I become a plumber, electrician? I mean, I would have really given something back to the community, I think, and built something, and you can stand back and say, look, isn't that great what I did?
You know, I was in my 60s when I started my fencing company. And the reason I started it is because my kids were involved in businesses down here, and we wanted to expand. They took it over, and, you know, it was fine as long as the expansion was going on. 2008 came along,
yeah,
and all of a sudden everything collapsed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to encourage people. To go in the service, get a skill, and that's a viable option to people. I was a guidance counselor for 4 years in high school. And I always brought the military in, gave the ASVAB test to the kids, and tell them what their skill sets might lie and their talents.
On that note, more coming up next. 580 KIDO, which means we have Jared Halpern joining us at 580 KIDO, still recovering from the UFC, still recovering from the peace, still recovering from everything. Jared, great to have you with us, sir.
Nice to be back. Thank you.
Well, we take a look at a lot of things going on here in Washington. We've got the president overseas. We've got J.D. Vance continuing to make the case for this peace deal. Where should we begin?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about this memorandum of understanding, I think, because it's certainly focus of President Trump's attention in France. You're right, the vice president trying to do his level best to kind of explain it, but there are still a lot of questions from Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill about the nitty-gritty here. What are the commitments that Iran is making? What are the commitments the United States is making? What's the timeline for those commitments being fulfilled? And what are the mechanisms to ensure that Iran is doing what it says it will do? That is really going to be the crux of the next 60 days. The president has made clear that he expects a final peace deal during this 60-day window. Maybe he says it can happen sooner. But he has also warned that, listen, if it doesn't happen, we can always go back to the bombing, to the military campaign. That is part of the leverage that President Trump, that J.D. Vance say the U.S. has at this point. The other big question, and this is developing kind of today, is Israel's role in this. Israel is not a party to the memorandum of understanding. This is a deal that was negotiated between the United States and Iran. Iran says that a final peace deal, a final agreement that is reached after this MOU must include Israel withdrawing its forces from southern Lebanon as they try and dismantle Hezbollah leadership in that country. Israeli leaders say that is not going to happen. They have not agreed to that. And then this morning in France, President Trump's pretty critical of the Israelis. He said that Bibi needs to act more responsibly as it relates to Lebanon, and suggests that Israel should not be taking on that other people in the region can do that. And so that's going to be perhaps the biggest obstacle to overcome, is to get the United States and Israel on the same page, try and force this final deal with Iran that seems to be tied, again, to what Israel is doing in Lebanon. Israel says these are two wars that are very much connected. The United States has not participated at all in the Lebanon Hezbollah action. And so this is going to be perhaps the one stumbling block we are going to be looking towards as we look how these negotiations work over the next couple of weeks.
Jared Halpern joining us, Fox News Radio, 580 KIDO. Jared, let's. What about the reaction of the other Arab states? Is there any challenges there with this peace agreement? And again, a lot of conservative critics want to see this memorandum of understanding, sir.
Yeah. Well, the Arab countries so far are very supportive of this. They want stability in that region. Most importantly, they want the Strait of Hormuz reopen, this blockade to end, because they need that waterway to get out their oil, to stabilize markets, to provide a sense of stability to their countries. And so far, they are very supportive. But you, again, I think are going to see the Arab states be very curious about the details and the mechanisms in place to ensure that Iran abides by all of the commitments that it has made. The other aspect to this as well is the role the Arab countries may play in a rebuilding effort of Iran, which is said to be part of this agreement, is some sort of fund that is set up to help reconstruct areas of Iran that have been hit hard during this war. The Arab states, through reporting, have suggested they would be willing to help invest and pay for some of that. But again, I think there are questions about, does that happen on the front end? Does that happen on the back end after Iran has made good on all of its other commitments?
Jared, we appreciate anything else that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it'll be interesting as how President Trump frames this. The other big thing is this signing ceremony now. This memorandum of understanding is being signed Friday. at this lavish resort outside of Geneva in Switzerland. Iran will be there. We believe it'll be the vice president who is there, but President Trump has kind of played coy on whether or not he will participate as well. So we'll see kind of what that looks like on Friday, and then how soon after that is signed do we start to see the full text come together.
Jared Halpern, outstanding. Thank you, sir.
Sure thing.
All right, joining us now is the rodeo queen from Mississippi. Welcome to Idaho.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful state.
Well, I'm sure you don't miss the humidity.
I don't. This dry heat is lovely.
How do you compare the rodeo scenes in Mississippi to Idaho, ma'am?
Our rodeo season is really focused more in the winter. There's a few in the summer, but it just gets so hot. So our rodeo seasons in the winter, our biggest one is the Dixie National, which is the largest rodeo east of Mississippi and is in February. It's a little bit more spread out. So as Idaho, you kind of got Snake River. I went to Eagle for a night, and then Caldwell's kind of all during the summer. And ours is just a little bit more spread out, but nevertheless, we have great rodeos. So,
well, do they have cowboys in Mississippi? I know that's a dumb question, so let me apologize for that.
We sure do have some cowboys, yes, sir.
Well, that's tough to compete with SEC football, though, as we talked about yesterday.
It is. I joke and say it's faith, number one, family, number two, and football is number three. It is huge in the South. And I recently graduated from the University of Mississippi, also known as Ole Miss. Where we are very football focused. So.
Yeah, we won't get you in any trouble, but we'll ask you these leading questions. Any Lane Kiffin comments you'd like to share with us? Exactly.
We love Pete Golding. He's been great. So.
Yeah, but what an incredible year y'all had.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
So, what do you make of Idaho? I know you've given me the, hey, it's great, but, it's a little different culture, or is it?
It is. Oh, my goodness. Y'all are so nice. Everyone is so genuine, so sweet. I'm staying with Miss Kylie Davis, and she lives right in the foothills of Nampa in the Eagle area. So just watching the different landscape that y'all have, and we went to Lowell Lake the other day.
Lake Lowell, yeah.
Lake Lowell, yes, sir. And it's just beautiful, beautiful, stunning area.
So how would you compare, like, the Southern vibe? Because, you meet the Southerners. They're going to tell you they're from the South. The South will rise again. Sweet tea, we love the South. Then you come out to the West, and, same amount of pride. A little conflicting worlds for you, but how do you balance that when you come out here and you see people that are, embraced in the cowboy culture, the rodeo culture, and, again, a totally, different part of the country, a different coast, if you will.
Right, yeah. Mississippi is very green. It's very...
Not a lot of green here, no.
Not a lot of green, no, sir. Again, with a little humid, a little muggy, but the people are just some of the most hardworking, genuine, kind-hearted people you'll ever meet. And they're very similar to out here as well, and I think that's kind of the Western and rodeo culture. But, people, they ask you how you're doing, and they mean it. So it's deep. It's deep in its faith and history.
Which leads us to... Why rodeo for you?
I grew up a fan of rodeo. I was a 4-H kid, showed dairy goats, rode horses all my life, and did a little bit of barrel racing, but attended the Dixie National every single year. And I just remember watching the contestants, watching the flag girls, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that. I became a flag girl for the Dixie National and did that for some years, but that only lasted 2 weeks. I wanted something that was more year-round. And so that kind of put my foot in the door with rodeo queening. And one thing that instantly was drawn to was just the camaraderie of the cowboys. And being able to watch rodeo from the production side, watching communities come together, committees come together, and put on shows and performances and rodeos, I just thought it was so cool. There's no other sport like it that cowboys and contestants are rooting for each other while also competing for the same prize.
Sure.
And I think there's so many values that the world can benefit from this way of life.
What's it like seeing the kids seeing you are a 4-H kid?
It's amazing. These kids, there hasn't been one moment that my glass has gone empty with coffee or water. They are so hardworking, always looking to serve, always looking to please. And I know I would not be here talking to you today if it wasn't for 4-H. That is one of the best things that you can do for for the next generation.
And yet we live in a world, not to be offensive, but I mean, I'm sure you're a digital smidgital person. I mean, we're documenting this on the phone and stuff, but how do you balance that? I mean, these kids were here at 4 a.m. With their jeans pressed, their shirts tucked in, some with baseball hats on, some with cowboy hats on, wearing cowboy boots. Obviously an ode to our great American culture. How do we keep that going in the age of TikTok and schmicktalk? I know that's a heady question for you. Sorry about that.
Well, no, sir. I just graduated with a degree in integrated marketing communications, and with that, social media and technology is a huge part. You always want to be present, 110%. I think social media should be used to tell people's stories and to highlight those that have come before us and who are making an impact and influence on this industry, showcasing what these kids are doing, the impact and the change that they're making in the world. But also...
are you running for president? Because you could. Those are all great answers.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. Just telling people's stories, but, I'm also very old school. I think handwritten thank you notes and shaking people's hands and being a visible presence goes much farther than anything you can do online.
Are you excited for this rodeo? What do you expect from it? What have you heard?
I've heard the calf scramble is pretty built up around here, and the winners of that, they could get prize money that goes towards buying their own steer or heifer or cow. So I think that's great.
I believe you. I don't know any of those, but I believe what you're saying.
That's what I've heard, which is so great. It encourages students to get involved in agriculture, but also be a part of a little fun rodeo event that is entertaining. So, yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait.
Finally, who's going to win the SEC this year?
Hopefully Ole Miss. I'm rooting for them Rebels, but we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah. It just means more.
It does. Yes, sir.
Miss Rodeo, Mississippi, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
A pleasure. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO. Appreciate Miss Rodeo Queen, Mississippi, for joining us. And like I said, I really appreciate the Boys and Girls Club of Canyon County for being here and feeding the kids and all the great volunteers, even Steely Dan over there, who's been exceptionally loud today. We apologize again for that. Phone number's here, 580-KIDO. And let's see if I've gotten your mic right. You want to say something?
Hello.
All right. How are you?
I'm good.
I think I only see you like 2 or 3 times a year.
Yes. We don't make it to everything, unfortunately. But we made it to the Buckaroo Breakfast, and this is an awesome thing. They do a really good job. And anybody who hasn't done this needs to do this.
Oh, yeah. It's very, very hospitable, very welcoming. And like I said, it's how America used to be and should be, really.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about it, because I'm a sissy, is that it's indoors. And whether you're a rodeo person or not, there is something about being indoors. There is something about Tea Party Bob eating a sausage and eggs in front of us as well. I guess this really is, there is no formality in this program.
So what I think people don't realize is you can watch the slack competition while you're eating your breakfast when you come to the Buckaroo Breakfast.
Yes, and he's just going to watch us while he eats his sausage.
Well, we can watch him eating his sausage.
Well, for some, that's torture. For others, I guess that's recreation. So what would you like to discuss?
Well, earlier when I was at home before we showed up, I was listening and they were talking about local politics and some of the issues. And one of the things that I am concerned about, too, is that I see...
Okay, you're talking to me, so focus on me, yes.
I see that there is a lot of funding now in the elections for the less conservative Republicans. They're pushing out the more conservative ones, and they seem to have an illegal alien problem. There seems to be the desire to have illegal aliens in this state. Rather than going through the proper immigration process, if you want to bring people in to work for you from out of the country, there's a process for that.
Well, and again, not defending that practice, but you're going to have local people, whether they're congressmen or business people, are going to say in defense of that it's a national issue. I agree with you but it doesn't seem that anyone, maybe outside the state of Florida, is actually doing anything significant about it.
No, I see here that there's an issue. They want the illegal aliens here. The big money wants it. The big money that's financing the candidates.
Well, yep.
Big time.
Well, and, we saw that.
It's illegal.
And we saw, you don't have to tell me that. I appreciate the passion. But, again, 14 bills put forth by the legislature, and none of them went anywhere. So when you have powerful people from big industries, they have the stroke here. And until you have people that are going to unelect those people, that's how it's going to be. And then the culture shock is, well, aren't Republicans supposed to be against illegals and law and order? Well, remember, there's a powerful business group that supports and supplies the Republicans. So
exactly,
here we are.
So I won't support those groups.
Sure. Yeah.
I will privately fund candidates that aren't going to do those things, that aren't going to support illegal aliens and want to keep them here and be able to have them work for them illegally. Or give amnesty. I don't want amnesty either.
Sure.
We were promised that we've given amnesty twice in my lifetime, and we were promised there would never be amnesty again. So I'm hoping they'll hold to that promise that we were given many years ago.
Well, hope in one hand.
Exactly.
So anything else you would like to share with us today?
Maybe one other issue that I think is really important. I think that our local cities and counties need to pay more attention to our limited resources and consider them in building decisions.
Well,
because it's going crazy.
It seems more like it's tax and spend.
Yes. But we're going to run out of water. We're going to run out of electricity. We're going to run out of all the resources.
Well, this has been an uplifting conversation.
Well, I missed out on it earlier.
Well, it was something earlier. In fact, I'd have to say this has been a roller coaster show. So,
what would you like to talk about, Kevin?
Well, we're just going to try and keep the train on the tracks right now. Well, we've got this Iranian peace deal. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is it's going to be difficult. Well, we don't really know what the details are, number one. Number two, it's probably going to be a lot more difficult to enforce. So I suppose that we need to be prepared to go back in if we have to, militarily. I don't know whether there will be a will for that. But.
Well, T-Party Bob is left, so I can say this because he's not here. I think the challenge we have is that you have the media that is cheering for the other team.
Yes.
You have the Democrats cheering for the other team.
Well, who would vote for them under those circumstances?
But you're seeing it from our perspective, and I agree with you on that. However, you have to overcome that. You have to win that. I don't know if the mood is there. Look, how many times in your life have you been right, but it still didn't matter, sadly? And I think that's where we are. And I don't know if President Trump would be charming. I don't know if President Trump would be whatever. It would make a difference. But you have legitimately the media, legitimately the Democrats, and a lack of critical thinking skills in this country, where because somebody says something, they're not challenged.
Right.
And we've documented that for years on this program in Little Idaho, that people are watching videos instead of reading. And they see something on social media, and that's the truth, as opposed to being hypercritical. I see it with my friends. I see it with my family. Whether it's right-leaning or left-leaning, there is no devil's advocate anymore, at least with most people. And maybe that's an age thing, but you find that just because somebody says something, they believe it.
I think that's true, and I don't think our education system is doing anybody any favors.
Well, our challenge is try to overcome that, though.
Yes, we have to overcome that somehow.
And I don't know how you do that.
You homeschool your kids.
Well, Alan Ontario calls, with his thoughts on women. Would you like to give me your thoughts on Alan Ontario here?
He rants a lot.
Yeah.
And his voice grates against my ears.
And he seems to have a problem with women. He likes the men, but he has a problem with women. Do you agree with that?
I haven't really listened to him, and I haven't thought about that, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'll pay more attention to that.
Well, we appreciate that. All right, this has been a great segment. Anything else you'd like to share with us here?
Oh, well, we took a trip. We just got back from a trip to northern Idaho and or actually more central Idaho and Montana, and had an awesome time.
Well, that's reassuring.
Beautiful country.
A lot of us are just working, so thank you for sharing your trip.
I am retired.
Yes.
Retirement is highly recommended.
Retirement if you can afford it.
But one final word. It was a pleasure meeting your mom.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have her on in
She's
a minute. Yeah,
sweetheart.
she's a showstopper there and a show
She's
stealer.
awesome.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Always appreciate you
see
coming
you.
by. Yes. All right. More coming up next. 580 KIDO. And he's quite the draw. My mom keeps looking at him, which is odd because she allegedly came out here. Now, look, let's be honest. You don't really come out here to see me. You come out here to go to the rodeo, and because you and Dad grew up admiring cowboys and cowgirls. That's really why you're here. It's okay to be honest on the radio.
We only
It really is.
we only are around the rodeo 4 days.
You know, when I was in Alabama, you'd visit for like 2 days, or North Carolina or Nashville, maybe 4 days. But here in Idaho, you're here for like, what, 12 weeks?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks to some, 12 weeks to others.
2 weeks minus 2 days, because we have to fly
Yeah, travel day.
2 days.
Yeah, that's the brutal reality of the West. You have travel days.
Yeah.
You
Very
people
fun.
east of the Great River don't have those travel days.
Oh, they're bad. They're
Yeah.
bad.
You know, we take a look at what you and I began 31 years ago.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
I know. I think about that a lot. I ran into one of the people that was on the school board the other day, and
Let's just talk about you, though. I understand that people can't relate to that. So
but they wanted to know about you.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care about me.
I know you are very much like my wife, a show stealer. But you are the original show stealer. So, by the way, my mom joining us, Pat Miller, at the Snake River Stampede, Buckaroo Breakfast. But, you know, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, number one. And number two, you know, I had a lot of dreams, a lot of this, a lot of that. And, you know, radio has always been my best friend, talk radio. But, you know, you were the only one that believed in me in this. And you were my only listener for many, many years. Some say my only listener now, besides Bob, before he has his segments. But besides that, we were starting off at a station nobody listened to in New Hampshire. And here we are in Idaho. It's been a long journey together, you and I.
Yes, it's true. But the nation in New Hampshire became a listen-to nation because of you.
A nation? You mean a station?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's Steely. It's Steely Dan there. It's very annoying, but it's part of the magic of being here.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, nobody listened to that station until you started on that station, and then everybody listened. And I love it because you still have little cute names for people.
Yeah, nicknames, yeah.
Yeah, very definitely.
Yeah, against every consultant's advice. But, you know, here you have your son who has this dream of being on the radio. But then again, that was a lot different than what it is now. You know, you have the streaming and all these jabronis that you listen to. You know, every time I see those people, I think, go work in Boise, go work in Nashua, go work in where I've been and what I've done. However, what was that like back in the days? And then I can remember leaving to go to Huntsville, crying my eyes out in my little U-Haul with my little Toyota Tercel. And then a lot of downs in this career.
It is. It is. Radio's tough. It's a tough job, and it's a tough life to live. But you have made it a success. You have won on Marconi, which a lot of people can't say they have.
Only 30 in the country, and of that, probably they've been repeated, so maybe 25 ever.
So, yeah, I don't see anybody in New Hampshire that ever won one. So,
Or Idaho.
I see. I'm so proud of you. You're unbelievable. And all your listeners feel the same way I do. You are one of a kind, Kevin Miller, and you are a top of your game.
I think I really have just had a lot of misplaced priorities in life, though. Maybe. You know, you have this drive, and I can remember, you know, being in Alabama, driving to my weekends, so I would drive to Atlanta to do a hit, and then I would host a nationally syndicated show on the weekends. And, when you're driven, you don't see a lot of things. And I'm blessed now, later in life, to see things that are important. But, even in New Hampshire, I did national television. What was that like for you when I'm going, hey, I'm going to be on national TV? And you're going, yeah, sure.
Oh, no, that was really neat, especially because when you did Nancy Grace, you left your brother's wedding to take a call so you could be on with her. I remember that that night. That was absolutely wild. But I'm so proud of you.
No, I remember, that's funny because, and this is where I say that was the shot to go to the big time, where I would do Fox, MSN, Nancy Grace, host a 4-hour show, manage 30 people, and I think something else all in a day to take care of Bama and Carolina. But, I can remember flying in for my brother's wedding and then the limo picking me up to go to Boston for Fox and Friends. That was but that was the shot to make the big time. And I never loved it like I love radio. I never loved it like I love this. But that was something. And again, I can remember begging the folks. I go, dude, I'll get in a limo. I've done my bid. I'm the best man. I'm good. But I was never really interested in being in society. I was interested in this.
I know. Always your whole life it was like that.
Yeah.
And that's why you can do it the way you do.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a fascinating ride. And I know what you're going to say, so don't say Idaho. Out of all the stops, what's been your favorite besides this one? And we're not pandering. This is just how it is. So what other stops?
Nashville.
Nashville was the area where John Mounts and I, we worked 9 years to get there. And if there hadn't been a management change, we would have been nationally syndicated and probably been right up there with Glenn and Sean. That was the plan. It all came together, and then it all blew up.
Yeah, but there was a
Remember
reason.
I was on billboards and all that?
You were down there, yeah. I remember that. It was a fun place, too. But it wasn't meant to be, and that's all right. God's plan.
I know. I was like, God, come on, man. You worked 9 years to get here. You're blown up 6 months into a 3-year deal, making the most money I've ever made in my life on billboards with the evil mutant John Mounts. And that was a humbling lesson to come back from that. And then to go to Pittsburgh, where you're the employee of the year, you beat Rush Limbaugh in the ratings, and then you do a Greg Ferrara, and you're out. And then you're blackballed. And it would have been interesting whether or not to come back from that. And, it's funny because after I took this job, I had one of my old friends at Birmingham call me, and I said, I'm already committed, but...
Yeah. Well, the one thing about being in Pittsburgh, it allowed you to see your aunts right before she died, your one aunt. And it was a blessing in disguise. It truly was. And
I remember calling you saying, hey, man, you need to come in. And again, because you're my mom, you're going, oh, you're just full of it.
I would never.
She'd always say that to me. I choose to be a victim. Anyway, and we saw, your sister Polly before she passed.
Yeah.
And I can remember, because I was born in Ohio, I would go visit. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I just would pay an homage to you, Dad.
And St. Sebastian.
St. Sebastian's, Granny, and Nani. And that was just my solitary thing to do. And then my cousin calls me and says, hey, my mom's dying. I went over and saw her, called you, and there we are.
Yeah. I'm glad you insisted we went over that night, because she died the next morning. And that would have been terrible if I hadn't seen her.
Yeah. So Nashville was your favorite. Wow, I'm shocked at that.
Why?
Yeah. Not Birmingham, though. You didn't like Birmingham. Didn't like Huntsville? Huntsville was okay.
I don't think we were there very much.
No.
It was quick.
Yeah, that was
because I was still working.
That was a quick firing. That was a lot of firing.
But I was still working.
Did you ever think, why does this guy keep going? He keeps getting fired all the time. Why doesn't he get a life?
Oh, that's radio, though. That is. I mean, God bless you.
It's being a dope is what that is.
I don't think so.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'm good.
I'm
good. I'm just glad to see you.
I go back to you and, Bob Dornan and, the power of belief. And this is really an homage to, if you have a dream, you have to follow it. I tell people all the time, you were an unpaid volunteer, and then you worked one of the highest offices in the land in the Senate, and then presidential campaigns changed your life forever. And it wasn't like you had a degree from Harvard.
No.
Yeah.
No, I had an associate degree.
Yeah.
But it's what you do with your degree is the difference. If you know how to talk to people and listen to people, then you can go far, far in any kind of degree.
Yeah.
So I will say I've been blessed my whole life. I truly have been. And you are one of my blessings.
Well, I'm just a living legacy to the leader of the band.
Well, it used to be that you were Pat's son.
Oh,
now
no.
I'm Kevin's mother.
Well, I don't know if that's the same anymore. I think that I'm just a ghost in people's eyes, but...
I don't think so. I met a lot of people here that were glad they met your mother.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you're quite the big star, yes.
I think you are, but that's okay.
Well, look, I dress like I'm going to a kickball tournament, so people find that appealing for some reason. And I always have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I know.
Even though when you try to make me
you
dress up.
dressed up for 2 weddings.
Yes. Yeah. Even as a little kid. Anything else you'd like to share, though? You want to talk about your love for Idaho?
Oh, sure. I mean, Idaho is the most beautiful state, especially when you can see the mountains. But, they're always kind of foggy lately. I don't know if it's smoke or what's going on. But it is beautiful. Your skies are blue, and it's just gorgeous. So we love it.
A lot of great people here, though. It is really, truly a blessing. And once you've been here, it really ruins you for the rest of the country. As much as I love other places, there's no place like this when we're talking about people, when we're talking about just the friendliness of people.
It's true.
And God really has blessed people.
They really have. So I am pleased to be here.
It's okay. You got to use you got to get used to the chaos.
Oh, it's all right.
And sometimes I get kind of ADD when I'm on the air, if you can tell.
Well, there's a lot of people going by waving at you.
Well, you got Steely Dan, and you've got all these other things. So, I do want to say this, not to get too serious on you, but you're no spring chicken, and neither am I. And I tell you, my heart thing has really changed me.
I can see that.
Yeah. But it makes me appreciate every day. You met Larry Gebert.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I was so sad when I heard the news.
Yeah, Larry and Teresa Palgrim and Rick Hogeboom, mayor of Nampa in his 40s, was working and died of heart disease. So what I'm saying to you is this might be our last time together. You never know.
No, you don't.
Now, you'll live forever. Old Kev. Old Kev might kick the bucket tomorrow the way this is going, but I love you and I appreciate you.
I love you too, and thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah. Yes. You and Bob are the only ones happy about that, so.
Well, we are. We definitely are, so.
All right.
God bless you.
God bless you. You've been a blessing. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO. Good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, so here we are. What's the week going to be like for you people?
The week is going to be amazing. The weather is really nice in the day, but gets a little warmer in the evenings. But thank goodness we have air conditioning, right?
Yeah, that's the best.
It is the best.
Yeah.
So, we have a lot going on. We are finishing up Buckaroo Breakfast and Slack, and we start tonight with our performances. And tonight is we're honoring civil service, which is the fire and police and ambulance and nurses and doctors out there tonight. So. Hometown heroes is what we'll call it.
Sure.
Yeah, so they'll be tonight. Stampede for the Cures tomorrow night. Wear pink, support breast cancer. Thursday's our Patriot Night. And then on Fridays, that's our Western Heritage Night. Last year we honored Dean Oliver, and this year we will be honoring Mike Servey, who was our star contractor forever and recently passed. And so his 2 sons will be honoring him that night, accepting his award. And then, of course, Saturday matinee, Saturday night finals. And then we have something really fun this year. We started last year, it's called Wind Down. And so it was Sunday, Wind Down, Snake River Stampede, Wind Down. And so we had 15 local wineries last year. And they're returning this year, but we did a little twist because it's Father's Day. We added whiskey and cigars. So you can get wine or whiskey and cigars, your choice. So everybody has an option.
Very different crew, wine and cigars. How much work goes into this?
Oh my gosh. So there's so much work in planning. We're fortunate we have the Idaho Center staff to help us get things set up and help facilitate a lot of the setup, but it takes days of preparation for setup, and we have over 300 volunteers a day that help us.
That's a lot.
It is.
So how do you get people to do this? And, you know, we always see photos of you and Hal and others, the red shirts, running around the country. But we know you're not having a good time. You're actually working, or are you?
Yeah, we're actually working and having a good time, right? Like, it's like a wedding. You prepare all year for it, and then it's over. But it takes a week for it to get over, in our case, not a day.
Yeah.
But it's like planning a wedding every year, like all the logistics and all the movement and just making sure everything is in its place and all the sponsors are represented where they should be and everything's fulfilled contractually. So we...
well, I mean, that's the challenge. You know, just because you're going to have something, you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
And everybody, you know, a lot of volunteers, they do this out of their own time, their own effort, their own energy, in addition to working their 75 other jobs and their commitments. And really, you know, it's one thing to have an idea, but then, you know, you have the post-show concerts now and the pre-show dinners.
Yes.
And getting people to buy into that. Can you take us through that process?
Yeah, so we have the rodeo itself, and then we call it the after party. It's out in the amphitheater. We have food trucks, shopping vendors, boutiques, and different activities. We have a free mechanical bull that, you know, after they've seen the rodeo, they want to try their
Have you done the bull?
I have.
I bet you have. Yes, I bet you have, yeah.
But we let them do it for free and try their 8-second skills out and see how good they do. And then there's a live band every night on the stage in the amphitheater immediately following the rodeo. It's free. If you bought a ticket into the rodeo, it comes with it.
You're like always on here. You know, you're just boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
You're in the
zone. You got to
zone.
inform people.
Sure.
So we're getting a little bit of pushback this year from fans. So I'd like to explain.
Wow.
We've incorporated clear bag policy this year.
Yeah.
It's something that we held off last year on, but it's the way the big arenas like this and venues are going. It's more for safety, so we want to just kind of be in the same policies as the Idaho Center does for their concerts and other events they have out here. It makes it easier on their staff when they're checking at the security points and checkpoints, so it's good to be a good partner with them as well. So we are enforcing the clear bag policies. We'll have them for sale at every entrance, so if somebody didn't bring the clear bag or needs to get one to come in, we have them on sale. They can come in the office ahead of time and get them, or we have them here at the rodeo every single night.
Lynn Calvin, anything else you'd like to share?
One other thing, we also joined the policy with parking. We've never charged for parking in the past, and so we will be charging. It's $10 for parking this year. So, I know.
Had to get that out, huh?
Got to inform people because I don't want them showing up and being upset, and so.
I heard Lynn Calvin. Yeah, send your complaints to her.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Well, no, we appreciate you having us here, and you know, we know you have a lot of partners. So again, as you know, it's always very personal to us to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. We love having you here.
All right, you're free to go.
Okay,
I know you've got it.
thanks.
You've got how many hours today?
Oh, it'll be all night.
Yeah.
I just eat and sleep rodeo for a week.
Yeah, good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Okay, have a great morning.
Hold on. Good luck to you.
Oh, thank you.
Young lady, good luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, joining us now to bring us home, TPB. Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate you. Let's go. Here we go here. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So here we have really the end of the line, if you will. This has been a pretty crazy show today.
Well, in your estimation, I think it's been kind of normal.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems more like an asylum, if you will.
Well, it's always an asylum.
Yep.
Isn't that the tone of most of your shows?
I suppose, yes. If you build it, they'll come, allegedly.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. You know, we take a look at the summer. What does it mean politically? Obviously, and again, I wouldn't ask you the question if I don't want the answer. There are many people that are focused in on I guess it's Meridian this weekend, the big GOP thing. Is that what you're focused in on? Or before I ask you, what are you looking for things politically in the summer? How do you see these meetings coming out?
I don't think a lot's going to change. Whatever was going to change during the primaries. And Dorothy will probably keep her position. Oh, boy, what a great picture that is.
So, it's funny. I'm trying to do both here. That's where you actually need to fill time. Thank you very much for not doing that, Tea Party Bob. So, okay, so you have that. So the summer, is that an off year in politics, or how are we going to see this playing out after the GOP convention?
It's never an off year in politics in Idaho.
Although one could say really there's no action till the legislative session, because the primary is the election. You move on to the general. You have the abortion issue. You have the weed issue. I think they're both on the ballot. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
You want to know what happens during the off season?
Well, no, before that, let's address what I just said with respect.
I don't see a lot of changes taking place.
But,
here.
I mean, you have this issue to get rid of Idaho's pro-life law.
That pro-life law is not going to be gone. It's going to stay here. I don't see that happening.
Even though with all the money that is being funneled to bring that down.
It's one of the foundations of, should I say, the core foundations of the people of Idaho. They don't want to see that happen here. You may have a faction of people down in the Boise area that want that, but I think in general, if you go around the state and you talk to people, that's not something they want to see brought back. The right to life here has been extensively talked about, and I think it's as solid as a rock.
On the other hand, you mind if I give you the alternative perspective?
No, go right ahead.
And I hope that you're right. I pray that you're right. On the other hand, a lot of people criticize you. A lot of people say, well, what does he know? All he does is complain. Let's go back to your dire warning concerning the expansion of healthcare costs. And it was you and Steve Ackerman, who knows where Steve is now, and you warned people. And then we had the giant Greg Ferrer, this session where people said, whoa, all of a sudden we're paying too much. And the message that you as a grassroots guy were up against, and you didn't have the big money behind you, probably this was the birth of the Gem State Patriot, I believe, was it's going to blow up, it's going to expand. And now it has.
Well, look, you got to remember, they came through here and told us, hey.
But remember the spots. The spots were saying, you're going to get money from Washington. You're going to get da-da-da-da-da. And if you don't take the money from Washington, other states are going to get it. That's what they were up against. So please go ahead.
40% of Idaho's budget comes from Washington. Much of that is in the medical area. The rest of it comes from basically the public education scene. But when they first talked about doing the Medicaid expansion, it was $440 million that they were talking about. Does anybody have any idea what it is today? No, probably not, but it's over $1 billion. And at some point in time, the government's not going to be able to fund that anymore. And you're going to go down to 70%, and then you go down to 60%. Who's going to pay for that? It's going to be the people of Idaho, because that's the only way they're going to be able to get the money. The simple fact that we take 40% of our state budget from the feds tells us very simply, we don't have our own right to do things here. The feds control basically 40% of what happens in Idaho. If you don't think that's true, just take a look at the MOUs that come through with every dollar we get.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But I remember you fighting against that message and pretty much being overwhelmed. And then I could see the medical providers saying, we're losing our doctors. Our doctors are all gone because of this pro-life law.
Well, let's look at the nurses. We don't have any real nurses in our hospitals anymore. We have these traveling nurses.
Which it is big money for those folks.
Absolutely.
It is crazy money. And you think to yourself, there are a lot of smart people in the hospital systems. Why are they allowing this to go on, man? I mean, you talk about nurses. You could make a ton of money as traveling nurses as opposed to just being here and serving the community.
Yeah, but just let's take a look at what's going on currently. They're taking all of these private practices that work with the hospital, and they're moving them in hospital. You know what happens when they do that? The price triples or quadruples for everything they do.
Yeah.
People don't get that. So when they used to go to the clinic and it would cost them $200, now they go to the clinic, it costs them $1,500 because it's in a hospital.
Oh, no, I agree. So we move on to the weed battle. What do you make of that?
I'm against the weed. I always have been. I lost a nephew because of the weed. That got him into more drugs, and it's not a good thing.
Here's my issue with that, though. I agree with you, but we're fighting big money. And, you know, the only thing that might save us is you're going to have the weed purveyors in Ontario and Oregon not wanting legalized weed in Idaho.
Look, you go over to Oregon on any weekend, Saturday or Sunday, doesn't matter. You think everybody's going to church. They're not going to church. They're going to pick up the weed because every license plate you see going across that bridge into Ontario is an Idaho license plate.
I agree.
And that comes back the same way.
Yeah.
I see it all the time because I come down here fairly often.
Do they try to get you to smoke a doob?
You know, I tried it once when I was about, 28, and I went right back to Jack Daniels.
Did they say, hey, Tea Party Bob, why don't you light one up when they see you on the road?
It was a party, and somebody said, Bob, want to try this? And I did, and I almost choked on it.
It's a very smelly substance.
Yeah. It's bad enough when you smoke cigarettes, you stink. When you smoke the weed, you stink even more.
So, back to my original premise, the summer months politically. Are you taking time off?
I'm going to try to. I'm going to take a little vacation maybe with my wife, get away for a little bit, spend some time in a different area. I love Idaho, and the summers we have up north are just fantastic. Everybody down here is worried about water. We got plenty of water. Everybody's worried about fires. That's the only thing we have concern about because we are in a fire danger in the Payette Forest. And it doesn't seem that many people care because they're going to burn 41,000 acres of forest land up there. These are all prescribed burns. I've tried to stop them. I don't know whether they're going to stop them or not. We've sent a letter to Michael Boren, who is the head of the Forest Service. We have not heard. I haven't heard back yet. But I will tell you, those are where the dangers occur. And we have a community of 300 or 400 homes that sits right in the middle of the Payette Forest. It is a designated wildfire area. So I am concerned about that more than anything else.